All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Live. Great to have you guys here for our War Room recall this Friday. We are riding right now, just Jake and myself. The others couldn't be here tonight. So it's going to be a great one, though. I guarantee that. You know, we got Jake in the house. It's going to be a great show every time. So I'm going to feed him some great questions. And so, uh, everybody, like we always do, we're going to start out just doing the introductions as we have done in the past as well too. I'm Ben Pappas. If you don't know me, you're coming over from Jake's side. I'm Ben Pappas, retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel. Currently, I'm an executive leadership and life coach. I help people to build their businesses, help organizations to reach peak performance and overcome their obstacles and make breakthrough to get to their best level. Jake, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Jake Zweig, current mentor to superstars. I tell everybody we make a ton of pilots, Rangers, Green Berets, Navy SEALs. We help people get to where they want to go. We live on a mantra. We build champions for life. And I'm currently trying to buy a business. So if you got a great business in San Antonio and you want to sell it to a great dude that's going to grow it and make it better, make it bigger, give me a call.
Love it, man. Absolutely awesome. Well, we got a really great show tonight, everybody. So if you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, we've got we're going to start out looking at the war triangle, kind of like a love triangle, but it's a war triangle of influence between Trump, Hegseth, and Netanyahu, and seeing how that's playing out, the dynamics, the conflict, what's going on between Trump and Hegseth and Netanyahu pulling on all of them, and who has the influence for the decisions that are being made today. And then we're going to roll into, after that, talking about Gen Z troops and Gen Z service members versus the GWAT generation, and even Gen Z itself, civilians, whether they're serving, not serving, why they want to, why they don't want to. And I know this is right up Jake's alley. And if we have time, we're going to get to the veteran disability firestorm that's going on right now that some of you have been tracking, with some pretty influential veterans coming out and speaking up about a couple things. We're going to look at both sides of the argument, and we'll get right into it. So, Jake, you ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready to go. Let's light fire. You got music effects too, Ben?
On this one, I don't think I can do it on this one right now.
Okay.
On this system. But everybody, I'll be playing up the old nightclub when we get back to the regular setup. So, but for tonight, we're going to roll San music. All right. So, hey, talking about topic one here, Trump, Hegseth, and the Netanyahu triangle. Who has the most influence over President Trump and why it matters to you? Okay. So I want you to picture a triangle and three strong people all pulling in the same direction. Okay. And all pulling on the same decision too, possibly not pulling on the same direction, but pulling in opposite directions on the same decision. What the US does next in the Middle East may depend on one of these people and who's pulling the strongest. Each one wants something different. President Trump, for example, he's like the CEO. He wants a fast, clean win. He wants it over. No long, grinding war. He gets to make the final call, and he decides who to listen to. You got Hegseth, the other side, the inside man, right? He's running the Pentagon, pushing hard and aggressive. Recently, he's gotten slammed a little bit by President Trump, and then Trump's tried to make it better, saying, no, there's no problem between us. But if you look at the headlines, you can see quite a bit of building tension for this, all right? And his power comes from being loyal. We know that Trump prizes loyalty, not from being the expert, okay? And then Netanyahu, we've got the outside ally, Israel's leader, not Trump's employee, okay? He's a partner, and he wants strong U.S. support and pushes back on a lot of things that don't support his own vision, his own interests. Okay, he does it in public, does it in private, and we've seen explosive exchanges between Trump and Netanyahu in the past, okay? So here's the big tension. Trump wants speed. Netanyahu wants more U.S. muscle and supplies for his agenda. And Hegseth is stuck in the middle, trying to give Trump that fast win while the cupboard is running low. And it looks like it's running pretty damn low right now with the missiles. As of early August, recently, last week, we're finding out that this missile claim of missiles running low is actually a real thing, okay? The Washington Post reported on August 5th that Trump blew up at Hegseth at Camp David. Trump felt he was misled about how low our missile stockpiles actually were and had gotten during the Iran war. The real detail here is that the U.S. reportedly fired 1,300 plus ATACMS, Army tactical missiles, in the first weeks, leaving the stockpile nearly empty. Reuters reported this as well, too, and that's when Trump really flipped out because of the level of investigative work they've done. Those supplies may be why Trump eased off the attacks. That's what, word on the street is. So Not telling you anything you don't know. That's what we're all hearing. The reaction here, Hegseth reportedly blamed his own deputy. Trump then defended Hegseth in public, calling the story fake news, and even said reporting was treasonous. So the White House denied all of it, but we all know what's going on. We see a push or we pull. We see, reports of attacks, pulling back, talks, no talks. And so, Jake, you've been in situations before where, maybe your best player or team member has let you down, but you had to defend him hard in a public way. What are you really protecting when you see something like this? What is Trump protecting? Him, the team, like his perception of what people think of his judgment, or your own authority? What do you think about that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think Trump at this point in time is kind of grasping at straws. And the reason I say that is because nothing that he's done has worked the way he wanted it to work. And now Hegseth is kind of on thin ice. Okay. In our community, we've heard a bunch of people saying that all the generals got their knives out, all of them.
Okay.
And if the generals have their knives out, there's nothing really going to save you. Okay. And so he's doing really poorly in the Pentagon. He's a little bit of a loose cannon, and Trump likes that. But I want to remind everybody, Trump fired General Mattis.
Right. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Trump is willing to fire General Mattis, Hegseth has no more security than a rat trying to break into the cupboard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man.
He doesn't have any.
That's a great point. That's a great point. If you're willing to fire legendary general like that, yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like, he fired arguably one of our best generals in the last 50 years, right? Like legitimately, like General Mattis was one of those guys. And General Mattis kind of said, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting up with this. This is not how I run my life or my business. And I'm out of here. Right.
Yeah.
And General Mattis, in my opinion, was a Trump guy, right? Like he's a fire, forget, kill everybody, like lay waste, So if that's the case, then I look at Hegseth and I just say, and here's the other thing, right? Is Hegseth mature enough to really give the president a true briefing, right? There's a lot of squirrely E4s, O4s that are going to try to hide 50% of the bad news,
Yeah. And that's where that's what it sounds like from the reports when people got really angry. I'll pull this up right now, but people Trump got angry, right? He got upset because all of a sudden he's starting to see things that he hadn't heard before. And so when that happens, then it's like any boss. When all of a sudden they hear it from someone else, when they hear something from someone else, they start getting upset. They start freaking out. And so here's what he's seeing, right? Is the US running out of missiles? What we know from Newsweek. There was one from Reuters saying, Trump doesn't even know what's going on in his own Pentagon. Okay. The U.S. Army has drained its stock of its advanced long-range missiles, according to a new report. Go ahead, Jake.
So we're talking about missiles. We're talking about million 5 missiles.
Yeah.
Do you know that we're at all-time lows in 155 millimeter shells? Artillery shells.
That's insane.
Because you got to figure, we just pumped 3.5 years into Ukraine. We gave them a bunch of howitzers. We gave them Marine Corps howitzers.
Right.
We gave them all the shells they could eat. And now we don't have any. General Dynamics contract was supposed to make $100,000 a month, and they haven't made a single one.
Yeah.
And so I think the production number, I talked about this 2 weeks ago, the production number is like 13,000 a month. And we need 100,000 a month to replace our stores to even get back to a critical level. But I will say this, like I said before, come over here and kick the bear and watch us flip the production
for
switch,
sure. Yeah,
right?
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
I've been listening a lot to World War II. It's called World War II Tales. Just a bunch of history stuff on World War II. And they talk about when Japan stroked the bear in, Pearl Harbor. And then the Germans said, we just lost the war.
Right.
And then it took us like 9 months to a year to get up to speed. It took the Willow Run airplane plant about 9 months to get up to one B-17 every 17 minutes. Now, here's something I just heard today that I thought was like You want to know how powerful America is?
Right.
We made 750,000 deuce and a halves in a 3-year
for
period.
the trucks. Holy
In a
crap.
3-year period, we made 750,000.
It's
and
insane.
that was just one thing.
That's
we made
insane.
B-17s, P-51s, P-47s. Like, I mean, they were coming off the production line.
And that's what this article argues. Let me see if I can pull this thing up. Could you see this when I pulled it up, or did it not come up?
I didn't see it on my screen.
Let me see.
I didn't see it on theirs either.
Yeah,
you gotta share the screen, I think.
I'm gonna see. I'm sharing screen. It says I'm sharing the screen. It says I'm sharing the screen now. Can you see that?
Last time we went over on the side.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, man. Let me just see here. Let me see if I can. Hold on 1 second. How about that? Nope. Oh, this is a little fancier. Look at this.
Oh wait, we got bigger. Make us
bigger. Bigger's better.
Yeah. Make us
bigger is better. If nothing else.
Okay, wait. Hang on. No.
Did it come?
Hang on. You shared. No. You shared. It went to the screens on the left. It did.
Okay.
So share it again.
All right. Let me try again. Everybody, you're getting to see me learn this new system so I can be fancy. And hold on. Bear with us. Ready? If I had my drum roll, I'd hit the drum roll, everyone. But because I got a good article I want to show you guys. And I want to make sure that I can do this. Let's see here. All right.
It's kind of working.
One more time.
It slid over.
Yeah, I tried to slide it. I didn't see anything though. That's all right.
It was black on my screen, but
yeah, let me see here. Hold on 1 second. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Shazam, baby! Woo! There you go.
Right, two football players from the Naval Academy.
Hell yeah, this is right. So if you guys don't know this, Jake and I go way the hell back. We were college football teammates together. And I got some Jake stories. Jake's got some Ben stories, but we used to be brawling out there together, man. It was awesome. So he's proud of me right now. He knows I'm a little technically challenged with this. So that was a big moment for the football brotherhood getting this up here. Okay. I'm no calm guy like Nate, and so this is a big deal. Nate's proud too. But okay, so I'm going to read this to you guys real quick. And Jake, this is going to fall right into your point. All right, the U.S. Army has drained its stocks of 2 of its advanced long-range missiles, according to a new report, after concerns bubbled up over the toll that the more than 5 months of war with Iran is taking on America's arsenal of difficult-to-replace weapons and its ability to fight elsewhere. The U.S. has used up virtually all of 2 types of its sophisticated long-range weapons, namely the Army Tactical Missile Systems, ATACMS, and the Precision Strike Missile, Reuters reported on Tuesday. This Reuters report is what flipped out President Trump, why he slammed Hegseth at Camp David, okay? Both missiles allow U.S. forces to hit targets in Iran with pinpoint accuracy and keeping U.S. soldiers further away from where strikes land, even reducing the need for aircraft, which can be vulnerable to air defenses, okay? Within days of the start of the war on February 28th, U.S. officials worried that the pace of the way the U.S. forces were fighting in the Middle East, how fast they were burning through these munitions, was very concerning and very costly for us to be able to fight maybe if China, Taiwan, Ukraine, all these things, okay? So in another report, military stockpiles are a closely guarded secret. The U.S. was around a month away from completely exhausting ATACMS, precision munitions, as well as the store of interceptor missiles for the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense THAAD missile system. Okay, so going to Jake's point, we can't produce these fast enough. And you guys already know this. This is not a new story. But the news story is that Trump is finally coming after Hegseth and pinning the tail on the donkey, saying, this is you, dude. Because here's another report he put out there too. I mean, here's another report that shows who Trump thinks is responsible for the war. Everybody see that one now, right? That one made it up there. Hold on, I'm gonna put it on the stage. I realize I have to add this to the stage. There you go. This is in March, everybody. I like to gather evidence and create a story, right? Like a good piece of journalism, almost a good story, corroborating pieces of information. Donald Trump publicly blames Pete Hegseth for starting the Iran conflict. You said, let's do it because you can't let them have nuclear weapons, okay? If you don't think he's setting him up for something like firing, I mean, I think you're mistaken. That's my opinion. If you're not thinking that, I think he's getting the scapegoat ready. Again, though, if I'm a betting man, it's hard to predict. I really thought he'd be gone by the end of the summer, but he may not be gone until 2027. That's what it's looking like now. So I don't know. Jake, what do you think?
Hey, blow our pictures up.
Blow
I
them
don't know
up?
how you, yeah, blow them
I'm
up.
gonna blow it up, right? Everybody,
Boom.
boom.
Okay.
New
So
system.
here's my thought.
Yeah.
We've seen this in the past. If Trump starts talking bad about you, you're not going to be around long.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's over.
But the problem we have right now, and this is what's going on, the Republicans are in a bloodbath, literally bloodbath in politics right now.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
They are trying to find any way they can to remove themselves from what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Which is really hard to do when the president and like it's just hard to do, but they're getting killed in the midterms. Like the Republicans down in single digits in some of the elections.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
I mean, and go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm just saying, like there's a lot of backroom politics going on right now that are circling around all of this stuff that's happening. Like I said earlier, the generals have their knives out. I just read a big article today that said that every general in the Pentagon, like they have their knives out. That was the exact quote.
Yeah.
And I just think, and did you hear that Trump said he wants to put all the steam catapults back on the aircraft carriers? Did you hear this?
Yeah, I heard some stuff like this. Yeah.
Like when he says stuff like that, I have to believe he's trying to deflect from something else, right?
I think you're right.
He wants everybody to be up in arms. It will cost probably $4 billion to change the catapults out on an aircraft carrier, maybe more. Retrofit an aircraft carriers, like we're talking about billions of dollars of work. And so my thought was, okay, he's trying to deflect from the USS Lincoln having problems at sea.
Right.
I saw the videos, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything big. There's nothing big.
Okay. Yeah.
What I wanted to say about this whole thing, though, I wish our politicians would act a little bit more like Elon Musk. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you talk while I pull this up.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody needs to see this.
Yeah. And so I think a takeaway here, the so what for everybody. We're talking about the missiles running low. The question I have is who really made the call to ease off the fighting and ease off the bombardments, the strikes? General Jack Keane on Fox News was calling for, you need to continue. We don't need to stop. We need pressure for negotiations. Negotiations go better with a lot of pressure. Even General Mattis came out and he was like, hey, if you're going to do this, you got to go all the way and finish it. Many strategists were saying, look, either you're out or you're in. Okay. And we've talked about that before too. But what made him ease off? Was it Hegseth or the empty warehouses? Definitely it wasn't Bibi Netanyahu. I'll tell you that much. Okay. So if it was the empty warehouses, that's a real concern, right? Because we're letting them stay in this incrementalism where it's actually hurting us in the long term for economic shocks by not having a solution of some sort. Because economic shocks will come. If you were here in my live stream on Wednesday, we talked all about that, about the coming economic shocks, the gas prices, the political fallout, losing soft power, losing influence in the world. So you have to ask yourself, what has more power in a crisis? The loudest advisor or the hard facts on the ground? And so what is the major takeaway while Jake's pulling this up right now? The major takeaway is that you can never outrun your supplies. You can never outrun your logistics train. Hegseth's big plan pretty much crashed with an empty stockpile, okay? And I don't say he owns all the blame. He has his marching orders, shock and awe, all that stuff. But in your business, commander's intent that outruns your cash, your people, and your inventory isn't bold. It's a trap. And many of you know this. We got a lot of entrepreneurs out there, a lot of business people, a lot of people that are in jobs and careers, in your own family. If you're outspending what you're making, you're going to get in trouble, right? This is basic fundamentals. We talked about this on Wednesday too, and just what Jake's saying, Bo. So check your supply lines before you promise the big win. Jake, I'll push it back over to you.
All right. So I couldn't find it, but basically Trump or Putin is pissed off about Starlink shutting down and all this other stuff.
Okay.
And he told Elon Musk, you better not mess with us. And Trump's and Elon Musk was like, basically like, I could shut your whole country down from my bed and my telephone.
Wow.
Leave me alone.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now, I wish our president and our politics would work the same way, right? Like, the wolves don't converse with the sheep before they
right.
right. And so that's all I want to say. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
just think the politics of everything right now are so absolutely squirrely. And this is what I said earlier today. Someone asked me a question about why is the Lincoln getting so much press? Two reasons. One, we have social media now.
Hey, can you fill everybody in on what's going on in the Lincoln?
So, okay, real quick. If you do a deployment, let's say a 6-month deployment, that's normal business. In the 70s and before, it used to be a year deployment. Okay. But they shortened them to 6 months for morale purposes.
Okay.
But in a 6-month deployment, you can have anywhere from 3 to 5 port calls. Let's say maybe on the high end, maybe you got 6. I was an oiler. We pulled in the port every 3 weeks because we had to get gas. Okay. It'd be a quick 3-day turnaround, but you still get to go get pizza in Sicily, wherever we were getting gas at, right?
And that's like one of the benefits they all look forward to, right? Everybody, get a chance to travel on the Navy's dime.
Yep. And so the Lincoln has been at sea for 9 months, 209 days underway with no port calls. Okay. What's really going on is there was no plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have a plan. They've got 2 carriers over there right now. We normally only have 1. So someone had to pay the piper to have an extra carry over there for an extra 6 months. It was the Lincoln. Okay. They're now rolling the George Washington out, which I deployed with in 96. But the George Washington will be there probably today. I mean, they just went through the Straits of Malacca and they're going 80 miles an hour. So they'll be there today. Right. But they didn't have a plan. This comes back to your point with Hegseth. It sounded real good, but the supply lines are broken. Right.
Right.
I'm sure they ran out of food already, right? Like they got 9 days on the way. The ships are bringing them trash right now. They don't really have a resupply port, right? So normally we're resupplying from not Bagram, Bahrain. Bahrain is a huge resupply port for all the supply ships that pulls in. They re-up their fresh fruits and vegetables, and then they go and they give them back, right? Like they give them to the aircraft carrier. They pump the carrier full of gas for all the air ops. The other thing is they've been around the clock air ops. And so I said this last week, but I'll reiterate it.
Yeah.
An average sailor on the Lincoln is working 12 to 18 hours a day right now. Okay. 7 days a week. They may have Sunday morning off. Okay. But when that carrier is involved in conflict, you got a bunch of flight wings on there. You got everybody in charge of the flight deck. You've got all the machinist mates. Everything is breaking. You're trying to replace engines and airplanes. Nobody is getting any sleep at all. And on top of that,
that'll make you nuts. That'll make you
got
nuts.
missiles and drones being shot at you. So everybody on that ship is at high alert. They're at condition 1 wartime steaming, right? They're all wearing flak jackets and their hoods and their face and their flash gear and their helmets.
Right.
And this shit gets old after 209 days.
And check this out, just to reinforce what Jake's saying. If you guys haven't seen this yet, and I don't even need any sound on this, honestly. I just want to give everybody, everybody an idea on a carrier, on a ship. And Jake, you correct me if I've got the wrong thing here, but this is a female enlisted sailor showing what her quarters are like. If you haven't been on ship and you're working these hours like Jake's talking about, just check this out for a second, just to give an idea. Again, not a pity party, but if you don't know, I kind of, I liked serving on there, but I never served on a ship for 9 months, 15-hour days. Like I was a Marine, right? I'm catching a ride. It was pretty cool for the ride, but so just check this out. Okay. Just get an idea. So this is kind of the conditions. Jake, maybe you've seen this one before, but she shows her rack. I'm not even going to put on this is the conditions here. Okay. And so this guy's like, shut up. You're not tough. You don't know. You haven't been. Oh, wait 1 second. I have to share it. I think I didn't share it yet. I get it.
There we go. There we go. Oh, hang on.
There it is. Got it. Okay. So check this out. Yeah. You're gonna see this. Okay. So this is what the conditions are like on there. And this guy's like, shut up. You don't know. I was in Vietnam or something. And then look, here's someone else. And then hold on 1 second. She shows the racks. Okay. So this is
pause it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh man.
This is beyond my kung fu, man.
Okay. Hang on.
Right.
No, I just want to give me a picture of her in the bed because I want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people understand exactly, what we're looking at. And then, all right, if you can't do it, you can't do it. So anyway,
I'm getting there.
The bed is not a twin size bed. It is, I would say the bed is probably 30 inches wide, is my guess. Let me pull it up. Let me
I got it here. There it is. There it is.
Okay. So that bed is 30 inches wide, and I believe it's like 22 inches to the ceiling above you. A lot of men cannot turn over in their bed.
No. So do you know how many times I hit my head when I was sleeping on ship? I got up in the middle of the night. So many times it whacked my forehead. So yeah, Jake, go ahead.
But everything that she has is underneath that bed. So that bed is a locker. And that's the only space she has to herself. She may have a stand-up locker somewhere nearby, but for the most part, that's her whole living space for 9 months. Now, let me put this caveat in there. She's not in there with like 6 roommates or like 4 roommates like you would think. She's probably in a female berthing with 58 people. Okay.
Right.
58 smelly ass people. I'm not going to say women. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you another caveat in the women's berthing. All 58 of them go on their menstrual cycle at the exact same time. Okay. It turns into hell ship. Okay. That birthing turns into hell for that week. And everybody's like, oh, why? I'm like, look, man, the pheromones links them all up real quick. So in the female birthing, you got that going on. In the male birthing, it just stinks, man. Like it's one of the most foulest.
You're taking these Navy showers, right? Where it has a little button to get the water, and you can't keep the shower running. You're saving water. Sometimes you can't take showers every day, right? If you're on water, if you're like water saving.
Yeah, I will say this: the aircraft carriers don't ever have no problem with water.
Got it.
For the most part, because they got nuclear boilers.
Do they keep it running the whole time, or do you have to spray showers like on the other ships?
Like we didn't have working water for 3 weeks underway one time.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's
wild, man.
And I just say this, like, you're going to give something to get something. You don't want to be out in a tent in a foxhole, freezing your butt off in the pouring rain. You got to sleep in berthing with 58 other females in stinky land.
Yeah. Okay? So morale gets low pretty fast. But let me ask you this too, going back to Hegseth and Trump, and we're going to talk about Hegseth in Congress in a second here. Okay. So let's, jump in on that and the money in a second, but I'm going to ask you a question. I know, obviously Navy SEAL, if you guys don't know Jake's background, Navy SEAL, Division I high level college football coach. He was the head of player development. So he's not just the tactician coach on the field, also the guy that's, the head coach wants him to mentor and bring these men up. And so, it lends itself into all the entrepreneurship and all the stuff Jake's done. He's really good at it, And so I ask you this question because I have my own thoughts on it, but I want to hear what you have to say. But does defending a subordinate in public like Trump just did after a screw up build loyalty, or does it just teach people that sometimes mistakes will just get covered up? I mean, he did the same thing with the Signal Gate and all that too, right? So,
man, I'd like to say Trump was just a wild card.
Okay.
But this presidency has been so much different than his first presidency, right? Like, and he said it. He said the first presidency, he didn't understand what was going on for the first 2 years.
Oh, I'm sure. Can you imagine?
He took a bunch of advisors that were recommended to him. He said this time he took all his advisors, right? He took normal guys. So I don't know. I just think that it's so absolutely. We talked about the pendulum last time, right? Like, pendulum's so far over here, out of bounds. I just say this: it's no secret when Trump's going to fire somebody.
I agree with you. And this is the starting of it, though. You start hearing things, start seeing things, right?
Hegseth is not in any position right now to try to bow up against anything because he's going to get his head cut off.
I agree, man. I agree. I think, as you're saying, like, I think with that question too, does it teach people the wrong thing? Does it build loyalty? I mean, I think the answer is yes, in some ways, but then at the same time, if someone genuinely did something wrong and they've been having a trend of making mistakes, even honest mistakes, it's a hard thing. A leader has to make a call about when, especially if it's public. If it's public and everyone knows about it, accountability matters a lot. It shocks through the culture, through the system's culture, through the leadership culture and the culture of your organization. So, it's getting to that point where, to your point, Jake, you're probably going to see a reckoning here where someone has to be held accountable, and that person's not going to be President Trump. It's going to be, Hegseth. And then he blamed his deputy, right? So no one wants to hear that. No boss, no head coach, not right. Like Nick Saban, coach he'd be like, he doesn't know, coach. They don't know, coach. You didn't teach them. They run the wrong play, do the wrong thing. They don't know, coach. And then plus it builds loyalty from the players to that position, coach, too, when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think Hegseth is loyalty is non-existent in his administration.
Interesting. So, yeah, for people for him, you mean?
For Hegseth, he doesn't have any loyalty.
I agree.
Right?
Well, let's check out this story from Political too about Hegseth, is getting basically locked out of Congress, right? I mean, he's locking the door on them, but they're locking him out. The GOP is not together for him. And Hegseth is shutting the Democrats out of classified briefings. This is true, reported by Politico, while pitching record $1.5 trillion defense budget. Like you're saying, we're going to spend $4 billion to change the catapults and things like that on a ship, on the aircraft carriers.
How about just changing the names of the bases back?
Yeah, right.
$300 million a base, I believe, is the number.
We talked about that in the war room, right?
Yeah, $300 million. No, that was the first time they changed it, right?
Yeah.
But now they're changing them back to other things.
I didn't even know
you didn't hear that?
No, man. Tell us about that.
Yeah, they changed brag back to brag.
And so now going back. So now it's a double
back.
That's nuts.
There's a couple other bases going back, right? Like they picked a different brag, I think is what they did.
Right.
Like they picked a couple different names with the same name, like different people. But I mean, it's $300 million a base to change the name. No different than how much did it cost us to change to the Department of War?
Yeah, right.
Right. Probably $1 billion. $1 billion.
It's interesting too. It takes an act of Congress, I think, to officially change it because it's by law. It's called Department of Defense still. So it's a name only, like a veneer. So as soon as they leave, maybe they're going to change it back. I don't know, but I don't think Congress is going to approve a total change like that. If anything, just to stick it to the administration.
I'm going to say this, Ben.
Yeah,
I gotta measure my words very carefully.
Yeah.
I love change. Okay, I'm one of the few people in the world that love change. I'm like, change is awesome. Change.
Chaos master.
Absolutely. I feel like if the Democrats win this next election, as a black man that's going to own a business, like I'm going to make a lot of money. Okay, that's kind of my first take, right?
Yeah, that's what you said last time too.
I think everything is going to get so ludicrous. Like I think, like you watch, the Democrats going to change the color of the American flag. They may add a pink, green, blue, brown stripe. In American
people are
flag.
going nuts. I don't know about that.
They would go watch. Watch what happens.
I wish you heard here right now. You'd be falling out.
Watch. They're gonna put they're gonna officially change the color of the American flag to add pink. Oh
my God. Well, check this out. Let's look at this article real quick here. This will lead us into our next part of this discussion. And let me see if I can find it, which is always interesting on here. Okay, splintering. GOP slams the door on Hegseth. What's your plan B? Okay, and so this really, I'm going to share it real quick because I'm learning my lessons here. There it is. So this really speaks to the fact that they still haven't approved this budget. He's not building the coalition he needs. Okay, and guys in the audience too, if you want to fact check me and you don't think that's it, put it in the chat and we can discuss it, right? But it's one of these things. What I'm finding in my research, the GOP is splintered on this. They're not fully behind him, supporting him on the $1.5 trillion bill. So picture, to Jake's point, he has nowhere. He's in a corner right now. In my opinion, he's in a corner. Trump's coming after him, then rescuing him publicly. Trump doesn't like that. It's right before Bondi's fall. He's defending Bondi. Bondi's fighting back everybody. She's standing before Congress. And then off with your head. You're gone, a few months later. And so right here, the splintering GOP slams the door on Hegseth. What's your plan B? And if we look down here, despite pleas and threats from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Senate Republicans left for their summer break without handing him more money that he insists he needs. According to a report from Politico, this is the Politico report, GOP unity is splintering under the weight of President Donald Trump's party line for the biggest defense budget in modern history. Senators departed for recess without advancing Hegseth's crown jewel agenda, $1.5 trillion defense budget designed to implement Trump's military vision, from new battleships to a Golden Dome to the missile defense shield, right? Hegseth's personal lobbying efforts in Capitol have failed to persuade Republicans to steamroll Democrats and pass the record-breaking proposal with an increasingly vocal group of GOP lawmakers questioning why they need this, why they need to expend capital on Trump's priorities with midterms looming. So, I mean, to your point, Jake, it's not looking good for them. It's not looking good at all,
I'm telling you, I don't know how I don't know how the Republicans have a chance in the next 2 cycles. I don't know how they have a chance. Like, we're going to find out.
I don't think they know either. That's based on what's going on right now.
We're going to find out. We need Aaron, right? Because he'll give us the kind of
Aaron, dial in. If you're listening, dial in. The link is in the text.
I'm telling you, like, we're going to find out here in November, bro. We got 2 months, right?
Yeah,
we got 2.5 months. We're going to find out because I mean, the Republicans might not win any election. In the middle of Texas, they might lose.
And here's this guy. Here's Senator Tom Tillis. I say this guy. Senator Tom Tillis, Republican, said Pete Hegseth calls himself the Secretary of War, but he doesn't want to go to war and win the argument. He said, you've got to engage. So, I mean, they're feeling like, he wants them to expend political capital when they're up on the chopping block. A lot of these people in Congress, right?
Yep.
And the risk here is that you need some Democratic votes. He's got to turn some people to actually pass the budget. You can't just expect the Republicans in there to do it. He's got to be convincing. And again, you and I both know the most of the role of a CEO, you got to sell. You got to get contracts. You got to drum up business. At least at a minimum, you sell through your reputation and through your presence and your bearing and the trust they have in you as a leader, right? You don't need to necessarily be such a salesman, but your reputation, your competence, your integrity sells. None of that's there right now. I mean,
you have to be a leader.
Yeah,
you have to be a leader.
That's it. Yeah, and I think, and also too, while you're forming that thought, locking out the Democrats, he's locking them out of briefings. How are you going to win any votes? Locking them out might feel strong, but it's sinking his own goal. It's irrational. So, what do you think about that?
So, I'm gonna say it again. The generals have their knives out. That's all you need to say, right? Like,
exactly. Well,
he can't recover. I thought he was doing a great job when he was working out with the troops early on.
Yeah.
And then he started to make some crazy, like I'm going to tell you what's killing him right now. And this is going to sound stupid.
Yeah.
This whole shaving shit. Okay. Now, do I think that
what's the shaving? Tell me about the shaving stuff. What's going on there?
Okay. So they're kicking everybody out of the army. If you've been out of the military, if you've been on a shaving profile longer than 1 year, you're getting kicked out the military as of the 26th of July.
Some people have to be on a shaving profile. That's what I remember.
Okay. Yeah. They're kicking them out. Okay.
Wow. What?
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to throw out 2 points that I think are very poignant. Okay. The first one, all of the Scandinavian countries have full Viking beards.
100%.
Yep. And a strike to the face is 37% less effective if you have a beard.
There it is. That's true. Yeah.
So if we're talking about your ability to wage war, you're 37% more effective with a full beard. Okay. So let's just call a spade a spade.
And for everybody out there that would say you can't form a seal on your gas mask, that might be true. But again, depends what your situation is, right? So,
yep. But yeah, I think that one, there's the minority community is turned up in arms about it. Now, do I think it got out of control?
Crazy.
Do I think it got out of control? Absolutely. Guys wearing full beards. Sent me a picture of a Marine in a recruiting station, fat with a full beard. Okay.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, you're going on a witch hunt. Why? All right. Do you remember the strawberries? I forget the name of the ship. We learned it at the Naval Academy. It was a ship during World War II. The captain lost their mind about the strawberries.
Yeah. Where somebody stole his cheesecake and the strawberries.
And his strawberries. And he was trying to kill everybody. And
was it the mutiny? Cane mutiny.
Yes. Cane mutiny.
That's it.
Yeah. And so we learned the E3s ate the strawberries, bro. It's not that big a deal, right?
Right.
This is kind of that same thing. He's going down with his ship on some stuff that's just not really relevant.
But you see, and this is where I think he really shows his experience because, and this, I always will say, your past does not have to define your future. You can make a change. However, when we say you are a product of your past as well, you are. And I also talk about you need to accept the present and then design and create the future through your actions. So one thing where I think he's stuck in is, as you're saying, his past relevancy and experience at the lower tactical levels. He hasn't had to sell in front of Congress. He hasn't had to sell and play these political games, winning support, doing all the salesmanship. He doesn't realize he's in a Cain mutiny situation by going after people on these shaving chits when, you know, you're going to need some of these people and their skill sets. And how much is it costing to get new people? And I don't know all the details on it. I'm sure they have a bunch of different details, but in political science and in these type of statistics, you can pull anything you want to support your argument, basically, you know? So, I mean, I just think, you know, and I want to say this too. If you're taking over like a losing program, let's say he's starting to go down decline right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you win over the doubters? Isn't that what you should be doing? Or, you know, let's say in the locker room, do you win over the doubters in the locker room first? Or, you know, what do you do? Do you do that to enforce the standard, to win over the locker room? Do you got to get in good with the generals and the admirals? And then now the Democrats got to win over? Where's the line where he becomes reckless? You know, like what does he need to do to right the ship here, Jake? Like, what do you think?
I don't think he can. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You see this happening in the Major League Baseball and the NFL. The second a coach loses the locker room, it's over.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm going to throw somebody under the bus here. I'm not in coaching no more. Okay.
All right.
I was in a team meeting with the Oakland Raiders when Hugh Jackson stood on the pulpit and said, "We're going to build a bully." And the whole room was like, "What?" And I was in the back of the room and I said, "Man, he just lost the team."
Oh man.
In the first team meeting. Okay.
Wow.
Going into camp, he lost the team. Gone.
And I've always been of the mindset as a leader, because I've taken over some good sized teams and some good units. You step in and you do some listening and investigation. You ask the plank owners, the people who are skin in the game, who are high performers, you know, what needs to happen here? What are the problems we're working on? Now in football, I know they fleece all the other coaches. They bring in their own people. But you got to ask the players, though, right? You got to talk to the players. Go ahead.
One game. They won one game that year.
Holy crap. So you don't think culture matters, everybody. This is it. Culture.
Let me tell you something, leadership. Man. I literally was in that room. Is probably my fourth NFL internship I've done, fifth NFL internship.
Wow.
And I said, they're not going to win a game. And then you know how I really knew they weren't going to win a game?
Yeah.
His daughter showed up to practice with huge, like double D, maybe Fs, with no bra on and in a see-through white t-shirt, walking around across the fields, just meandering through practice.
Yeah.
And she had just gotten the coroner from Cincinnati. It just got jail time because he had slept with her when she was 16.
Wow.
Okay.
That's not understanding the situation right there.
That's not understanding the situation. Yeah. I'm building a bully, right? And who wants to be a bully, bro? I want to be a savage, right? I want to be a killer. I don't want to be a bully.
A bully only picks on weaker people.
Absolutely.
You don't step up and go after the big dogs, you know? And so, let me see, like with that, when do you think a leader when does a leader refuse to argue because they're confident versus because they're afraid they'll lose? You know what I mean? There's someone who refuses to get into the argument or discussion because they're like, I know this is going to work. We're going to do this. And they go versus someone who refuses to argue because they're afraid to lose.
So I would say right now, I don't think Hegseth had the confidence needed to have the job that he had.
100%.
And I'm just saying it from a confidence standpoint, right? Like if you and I got that job, I'd be like, fuck, whatever, you know, I'm going to have some detractors. I'm going to have some positive people. You know, I'm changing the admission standards at all the service academies. That's probably the only thing I would really tackle. I'd be like, hey, man, we're going to do Sully. So for all 60,000 United States citizens that apply to the service academy, they're all going to be ran through Sully, and we're only picking the best leaders. I don't care what their academics are. We're picking the best leaders. You will find some good academic kids to build your nuclear power plants, run your submarines, but we're picking the best leaders. We're not picking the richest kids. We're not picking the highest SAT scores. You know, I got kids that graduate from the Naval Academy with a 3.0 and 1,000 SAT. So to me, that's the floor, right?
Right.
Now let me go
Right.
find the best leaders. That would be the only thing that I would show up and be like, all right, guys, we're going to change this one little small thing.
Yeah. And
Everything
it's
else,
funny, but it's funny, but like I've heard people coming in to take over things. They come into like a battle hardened unit. People been to combat, in the military, in the Marines, and someone saying, you haven't done it yet unless you've done it with me. You think you had a standard, you haven't had it until me. How do you think that went? That version of one win for the season is what happened to that guy. Okay. And he was labeled with a nickname. They made fun of him the whole time. It was terrible.
Let me ask you, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I know our SEAL community is different than the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did that individual last in command?
Not long.
Okay.
He ran his normal thing, but it wasn't in battalion command. He was at like platoon level.
Okay.
And so
I'm gonna tell you this. In the SEAL teams, we had a number. So 50% of the officers in the SEAL teams got fired in the first 4 years of the war. Platoon commanders, AOICs.
Yeah. No, we had very similar.
Commanders.
I think that was something probably happening for frontline troops, maybe more, because my vision was local level, but my battalion commander fired several lieutenants for cowardice. And I wasn't there when it happened, but I heard afterwards, and it was debatable. I think they got a shot at, I think he fired one for cowardice, another one for like cause for negligence. But cowardice, you're gone. You're gone from the military, from the Marine Corps. But I don't know what happened to that person. But I believe several others got second chances later, and they performed way better, way more. I'm talking like the next deployment, not that deployment. So, that's something. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect to ever really hear that, and, Ben, what I mean? I don't know what I was thinking.
Come on, Ben.
Well, no, it's true. It's true. I'm saying I didn't expect
officers in the SEAL teams were clowns, bruh.
No, I'm saying not for you guys, but I'm saying not for you guys either. I didn't expect that for SEALs, but I didn't expect it for the Marines either. I just didn't expect.
Come on, man. You're telling me your infantry officers who never had bullets shot at them are just going to be great fucking Marines because of TBS and infantry school?
2020. I think Heinz says 2020, and what you're saying right now makes me think it makes sense. It makes sense. Like what you're saying, you're right. Right now, it's like, as you say, come on. I'm like, yeah, he's got a point, man. You all of a sudden, and this was in a meat grinder. This was in major
Fallujah,
urban combat.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was the march up to Baghdad, all that stuff. So
I tell my story. My kid from 06, was the battalion adjutant.
Yeah.
All right. They had
work there, man. Battalion adjutant.
39 KIAs.
Oh my God.
They had 19 amputees, and they had 245 Purple Hearts.
Wow.
In an 800 person unit.
Yeah.
And he was shook.
Yeah. I remember my battalion took 80 casualties in 2 or 3 days in the JOF. And I just remember, being out there and seeing my battalion commander and talking with him, talking with our main effort company commander, great guy, real war fighter.
You at that time?
What's that?
What was your rank?
I was a captain. I was a captain, not a
03.
Yeah, 03. And but I remember, the toll of like heavy urban combat, you see it in people's eyes, they get shaken up. And like to your point, the whole point, not war story time, but the casualty count itself, and my battalion commander was a great battalion commander. He was, 2-tour combat battalion commander. I don't know if it gets any harder than that, honestly. And I could see, he just looked at me, he's like, we've taken a lot of casualties. And I said, like, yes, sir, but we're pressing the attack. I didn't know what to say. I was just trying to be supportive. I'm like, but we're, hey, we at least are medevacing guys. It's at least it wasn't, 70 or 80 dead. I hate to say that, but we had KIA too, but the medical system's way better than what we had in Vietnam or World War II. That's for damn sure. So anyway, I understand what you're saying. The shaking up shakes you up. Anybody doing that?
Crazy. You know this, Ben. You went, right? I had fortunate ability to be in a couple gunfights in high school. And I understood I got shot in high school, right? I understand the ramifications of a two-way gunfight.
Yeah.
It was interesting when you'd see the really gung-ho guys and they'd be like, oh, and then they would get into a situation in training and they would fold up in training, right? And I would just be like,
fear of failure too. Fear of failure of not knowing what to do, getting helmet fire,
1000%,
spazzing out.
1000%.
Yeah.
And you know how we're working. We got 460s, grenades going out. There's 16 dudes shooting guns, and you're trying to figure out what you need to do.
Yeah.
And 4 belts of 60 later in orange barrels, training's blowing the whistle and said, hey, bud, you got to do something.
Yeah. People don't know what to do. I'll tell you one of the things that was the scariest thing for me. And again, not a combat story, but right before deploying for a direct action deployment, I remember the thing that was terrifying me the most as a direct action platoon commander, as an assault platoon commander, because, we're going in processing targets day 1, day 2, which is what we did. As soon as we flew in country, you're still jet lagged and we're going. But what's scariest thing for me, Jake, and for anybody listening, is just that the friendly fire. That's the one thing I really honestly had a mortal fear of. Like, I don't know if I could live with myself if I got one of my own guys. Thank God it didn't happen. Thank God, other things happened, but not that. But I was like, I remember in training, I was like, so like my head felt like it's going to explode, like making sure geometry of fires were good. All of a sudden, especially if all of a sudden in a training, like simunition rounds, an enemy popped out where we didn't think they're going to pop out. And now to deal with that enemy there, you're shooting where blue forces also are. And if you don't, they got you and they're causing casualties. Like crazy stuff, man, because our weapon systems are so powerful. I always would say that. I'm like, I had a situation once, and quick thing, I had a situation once, a drop or no drop with, with rotary wing aircraft and also potential to use fixed wing aircraft. And it was a real moral dilemma, like in geometry dilemma. Like, I got to make sure I don't blow us up. I don't blow our guys up. And then I'm not just wiping out a whole building full of innocents, because that happened to a friend of mine. And I'm going to tell you, dude, he was messing with that. That was messing with his head for a long time.
I had a young man get fired for calling in a drop on a village that he was told his staff sergeant and his gun, he told him there was nobody in the village. Yeah. It was all armed combatants.
Wow.
And then the ISR drone flew over and his whole compound of kids, and he got fired.
Yeah.
And I said, hey man, listen, this is what war is.
That's
right?
Tough. That's how it is. Yeah.
You're going to make calls that aren't going to be good.
That's exactly what I said to my buddy. I was like, look, dude, and the thing to his credit is they were taking consistent, heavy fire from the spot, but they shielded themselves as like 30 civilians. So really terrible. But we digress. We digress from the main topic. I don't want to turn it into
the clown show.
The old Friday darkness. Friday darkness. Ferocious Friday.
The clown show that is our politics.
That's it. That's what we got to get back to.
We're trying to pass another $1 trillion deficit. Let me ask you this, Ben.
Yeah. Tell me.
What's going to happen? Like, we all know this. This is America.
Yeah. When the
country goes bankrupt, some shit's going to change.
Yeah, man. I think so. If the dollar gets super devalued to like where we're bankrupt, first of all, I think cryptocurrency is going to be through the roof. And so we're going to have even more haves and have-nots. You're going to have like super elite aristocratic wealthy level who own crypto. Those that don't, because they're going to control the financial institutions. I think that, there's a possibility for hyperinflation to happen. And guys, I know I'm doing some dooming right now. I saw some comments from the last one. Someone say we're doomers. We're not doomers. We're just talking,
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I will confess to being able to see problems before they manifest themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so successful in leadership.
Yeah.
And so there's some shit you can sit here and try to put your head in the sand like an ostrich if you want to.
Yeah.
But $36 trillion deficit.
Yeah.
Think about that. I'm going to put it in a personal perspective.
Yeah.
You make $100,000 a year and you have $4 million in debt.
Right.
That's about the same. Our GDP, I think our GDP is 26, whatever.
And like you're 26. Just paying interest payments at that point. You're just paying interest.
Yeah,
it's
but
growing.
At some
the debt's
point,
growing. Yeah.
The debt's on fire. Like at some point, the guy is going to call the debt. You know
what we're doing is we're going to use the stable coins. So they're devaluing the dollar. They're going to boost up the crypto and the stable coins to basically show the notes that everyone around the world is holding are worth nothing. And when they do that, we're going to have to enforce the only way we're going to hold the world's reserve currency still is if we have the strongest economy and the strongest military in 25 years. And if everybody watched me on Wednesday, I'm directly quoting Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan. He said, we will no longer be the world reserve currency if we don't have the strongest military and the strongest economy. So he got pushed back on by some other experts. And one of them said, well, that's not necessarily all true because the free capital markets we have, the institutions, the rule of law, the trust, things like that. But to his point, if you can't enforce, if you do that jack move to people, you devalue what they hold, and now you're like, we don't owe you anything. Poof, no more. That's gone. They're like, what? Wait, you were paying us, you're going to pay us for 50 years on this shit. Like, no, look what we did. If you do that, you are going to have 20 aircraft carriers to go over and enforce some stuff. You're going to have to do some economic coercion on them too. So to Jake's point, 100%, man. Crazy town.
Crazy.
You know?
All right, what's the next one we got?
We're going to hit it. So let's talk about Netanyahu and the F-35 fight. Hegseth canceled the meeting, tied to a possible U.S. sale of F-35 jets to Turkey. Netanyahu went on CNN and warned it would destroy the power balance in the Middle East. He used public pressure, to protect Israel's edge, So when Trump met Netanyahu, Netanyahu met Trump in July 28th, and officials said he pulled out a map to correct Trump's wrong assumptions about Israel and Syria. He came prepared to change Trump's mind with facts. Remember, we're trying to look at who has the most influence over Trump. This is the crisis, the war triangle, like a love triangle, right? All pulling for influence over President Trump, who holds all the cards. The power move Netanyahu did, he told U.S. officials he wants to go from aid to partnership, phasing out $3.3 billion a year in U.S. grants over 10 years. He's trading dependence for leverage. And I'm going to pull up this article as Jake winds up to take a swipe at this one, because I got one more here. Let me find it.
I'm still on my podium. We need to carve out half of South Texas down there on the Gulf, and give it to Israel. They found some Jewish artifacts there that said the Jewish religion was started in South Texas, and let the Israelites move to Texas, where we can get them out of the Middle East, and let the Palestinians have all of it.
I don't know anything about that, but that's a whole nother discussion. But this is the article right here. Netanyahu tells CNN he opposes U.S. sale of F-35s to Turkey as he downplays division with Trump. Let's take a little listen here to this real quick. This should be it.
Our mission is to protect people.
You ready?
After this ad.
We got to listen to a commercial, my dude.
All right, we'll kill it. We're going to kill this commercial. I'll read it. Just hours after President Donald Trump said he's considering selling F-35 stealth fighter jets to Turkey, and you guys can see that, right? I shared it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke against the potential move, even as he downplayed divisions between the two world leaders. In an interview with CNN, Netanyahu warned that the sale of America's most advanced fighter aircraft doesn't make Turkey a friendly state to the United States. In part of escalating dispute with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Netanyahu described Ankara as a regime that's infected with the Muslim Brotherhood, which hates the United States. He's not exactly a model ally of the United States, Netanyahu told CNN's Dana Bash. He threatens to destroy my country, the one and only Jewish state. Turkish Foreign Minister Fidan said in an interview with CNN Turk last week that Israel has become a burden that humanity can no longer bear, prompting Israel's foreign minister to condemn the remarks as textbook incitement to genocide. So that's where we stand with that one. Hit it, man.
Okay, let's just say this. If you don't think we got a backdoor to our F-35s that we can just shut them off, you're wrong. We can sell Russia F-35s. If they start using them for the wrong purposes, we're just going to shut them off.
They're going to drop out of the sky.
There's so much technology in there. We got a backdoor.
Exactly.
Okay? Secret low frequency goes out across the whole world. Their jets fall out the sky. All right. So that is what it is. Here's the deal. We were just fighting with Turkey during the Syrian conflict. Okay.
Over the Kurds, right? Over the Kurds and what they're filling out for the Kurds. Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say, man.
Hit it.
I think it's all charades. All of this is charades because the Republicans are getting murdered in the United States. I don't think there's any validity to any of this. They're like, okay, how can we deflect? You know the rules. Deny, deny, make counter accusations.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. I mean, you're not lying. You're not lying. I mean, I think, yeah, but there's something to this whole Israel-Turkey thing that's kind of concerning. But as I see in the chat, yeah, the non-NATO ally wants to block the sale of a NATO jet to a NATO ally. It doesn't make any sense. I hear you. And the thing is, everyone can poo-poo NATO, and they can get crazy about NATO until Putin decides to make a move, until Russia makes a big move. And I'm going to tell you the second thing, too, that I didn't cover today. Hit it. Hold the second thing. Jake, hit it.
I wrote a note. It's a great place to talk about this.
Good. All right, I'll write my notes.
Did you hear about the Ukrainian drone unit that destroyed the whole United States Army division? I think it was in Denmark in a war game in like 3 hours, Ben.
I heard something about this. Yeah, tell me.
They leveled a division. I think a division is like 4,000 people.
It's a lot of people. Yeah,
a lot of people.
Sure. Yeah,
they destroyed all of the tanks, all of the people, and the army was like, "Oh my god."
Hey, I told my son today. Speaking of this, my son, we were talking about. I might send him your way pretty soon because he's talking about Rangers, and all this stuff.
Okay.
And he's asking about, Marine Raider, Force Recon. I said, it's good. I mean, it's good. It's just a long road, and it's not certain. There's no contracts, man. Like, Rangers, you're going to be competing the whole time.
How old is he?
He's 20.
Have him call me, bro. We have him.
Tough dude. Yeah, I told him to send him through training with Nate on the range. Send him to you for overall training. Aaron's going to drown him in the pool. We're going to get all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he don't need none of that. I mean, the Rangers is one of the most accessible special operations.
Yeah.
And then, like I told you, we have 6 dudes at every Ranger bat now.
High respect. I didn't know that.
All our guys are staying. Like, we haven't lost a single dude in the last 18 months in the Ranger battalion.
Yeah. I think you can't make a wrong move if you can get to any of them. But the thing is, can you get to them? That's the only thing. So if you fail SEAL, you're going on shit.
Yeah, but that's the deal. You fail Rangers, you're going to airborne unit like the 82nd or the 101st. You're going to be You're going to be right back at it.
Yeah,
right. And you can reapply in a year.
That's
you
really
can go
cool.
back in a year, which none of the other services offer that. But here's the deal: the Ukrainians, they had to stop the exercise because everybody was dead on the U.S. side.
And this is my point about this. I told my son, who's going to talk to you, I said, I'm going to tell you, you're seeing all this GWAT stuff, and you're thinking, you're going to be getting skinny in a ditch while some Terminator drone's hunting you in the grass, in the tall grass, like Predator, like friggin' Velociraptor.
They found 2. So part of this was in Ukraine, they got a thermal drone looking for SF people. Okay.
Right.
They found 2 Russian SF dudes dug in, covered in leaves.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
100%. And the Ukrainian SF dudes came and got them out of their holes with guns. And when they were uncovered, there's no way you find them unless you have dogs or obviously thermal drones.
Interesting. So they're going to find some countermeasures eventually. They're going to find some counters to them. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to fight this war. I'm not lying. I wouldn't want to fight this. So I've said this so many times. Yes, there is some hell in some small places. Yes, people going through some hellacious stuff. I went through some tough stuff. But there are people done some crazy stuff. And I'm going to tell you, compared to World War II, Vietnam, Korea, it's a different world, man. I'm happy I got to serve when I did. Let me just say that.
I liken it to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like you had no chance in the jungle.
Right.
Like people were getting cut down from 3 feet away because you couldn't see them.
Can't see them.
And I think this is worse because we make our money at night. And at night, that thermal changes everything.
They own the night.
And then the second part of it is the drones going 200 miles an hour, and all you're going to hear is them.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to tell you, one time we had a drone overhead. I was doing an infill. We're doing infiltration into a target site to do a hit in a small town out somewhere in the Western Euphrates River Valley out in Iraq. And some general, this is the story later, decided to fly his little drone to watch us do our hit. he didn't realize back then this thing was like a chainsaw. I'm like, he's burning the target. What's he doing? It was like, it's like a flying lawnmower. We're calling back to hire, like, get this thing out of here. You know, and I think my boss, who ended up becoming a 3-star general, like flipped out. And like, he's a type, because he came from, you know, he's a very highly respected guy, like blasted everybody on that staff. Like, what are you doing? You're going to get our guys killed. Or the target's just going to leave. No one's going to be there. And then it's
everybody was looking at it like, oh, I'm just watching.
That's right. They don't understand. Right? The reality on the ground is a flying lawnmower. Not anymore, though. No more flying lawnmowers. They're quiet.
And you're in the desert with no sound dampening.
There's nothing dampening. No, it's carrying forever. You know, it's terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's crazy that, you know, we talked about this last time. Like, everybody's their answers, you're going to figure it out in the next war. Now, this was the comeback that I loved.
Yeah.
Oh, we reset the drill. We learned some new ways to camouflage stuff, and then we were a lot more effective. I took a lot more as the Ukrainians only killed half of us this time instead of all of us.
Yeah, if you get half of your unit killed, you're done. If you get there's the thing. If you take 10% casualties, you're basically neutralized. If you get
combat
30%, combat 30% is combat ineffective. You're done.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. So Netanyahu cannot give Trump orders, right? So how does a person, and this is for everybody to discuss and think about too in the chat, how does a person with less formal power still influence and move a person with all the power? What's the playbook for that? Like, how does Netanyahu get Trump to do stuff? What do you think on that?
The Rothschilds and the Goldsteins.
Damn. Okay. Money is that, or is it leverage and coercion, or what is it?
Nope. It's Rothschilds and the Goldsteins. They run the world.
Banking.
They run the world.
Yeah.
They've run the world since 1700s. They run the world.
And I know a lot of people in the chat will be saying, I see Epstein files, I see blackmail, I see the lobby, you know, the whole lobby, all those things like that. There's a lot there, but it's something to think about, you know, to really think about. This is a real triangle. When I say it, just dawned on me. That's why we created this title today. But it dawned on me that we have a real power struggle for the decision making for Trump, and we've had it for a while. But for a little while in the beginning, you know, in the very beginning, Netanyahu had his ear and sold him a bill of goods, basically, and it also served what Trump's interests were at the time, him personally, on the success of Venezuela. And that's what I think. And it was just hubris all the way.
I mean, think about this. If Trump would have just stopped it at Nicaragua or Venezuela, if he had just stopped right there,
he'd be superstar
and let Iran do what it does and don't worry about it.
Yeah,
the Republicans might win the next 3 elections. Okay,
yeah, I mean, you're not lying. You're not lying. This whole move is very costly. Very costly.
Like, it's just it literally has sucked the life. No one's talking about Venezuela anymore. Obviously, one of the largest and most awesome special operations mission in the history of the world. Okay, and it's gone. He had all the capital, and now it's all gone. It's all up in smoke.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we're over here in Iran, and here's the thing that is, and you tell me, Ben.
Yeah,
we will not commit ground troops to a problem that needs ground troops.
I think you're right about that. We will not, for a number of reasons, but because I think it's, you know, he doesn't want to get involved in a long drawn out war for a number of reasons. But I think after the midterms, the calculus will change. I think the only way you're going to open the straits is through some kind of ground operation. You know, I just think, he's going to have to take the gloves off. He's going to have to do something. You know, he's going to have to do something more. And you're saying that he won't commit ground troops to so something that needs ground troops. But I think that, I just think that he's made a mistake right now. And he realizes, if I do this, if I commit ground troops, I think he's personally very concerned about his legacy. I think
absolutely.
He's very concerned that 100%. If he does the ground troop thing, yes, it'll be effective. It'll be very costly though. Blood and treasure. It'll be very costly. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Ben.
Yeah.
If he just says, hey, we're done in Iran, bring all the ships home.
You can't right now, man.
They're going to open the straits, bro. They're not going to keep the straits closed.
Yeah, I know.
$2 million a ship is nothing.
No, I know. But I think for me, it's the cost in soft power and world standing. And again, we're talking about the world reserve currency at future stake. But right now, what happens? But let me say, what happens is this.
Yeah.
If he just ups and leaves, there'll be a lot of people happy for sure. Okay. But I just think that if he does that, we're going to have other people test us. So there's two sides of it. Number one, two people will test us and they're going to be like, well, you're not as bad as we thought we were. So now it's going to cost us more to actually stand up and to show how strong we are. That's number one. Now, the other side of that is this, and this is Professor John Mearsheimer, okay, great realpolitik Army or, Air Force veteran. He says, we've already lost. And if we lose and just come home, his argument is this, in terms of real power, it won't hurt us at all. So there are two sides, two sides to it. It won't even hurt us, he's saying, in the long run, but it'll hurt us way more if we stay. So
I'm gonna break out the Uno draw 4 card.
Hit it, man. Do it. And I'm gonna reverse that. I'm gonna put the reverse down on you.
All Trump has to do is land our spaceship in the White House front lawn. Okay, walk out there, have a press conference, and say, "This is what we have." Okay, have it fly around the Washington Monument, and land again, and say, "If you fuck with America, we're gonna give you this right here," and it's over. It's a mute point.
The thing
Everything is
if we
over.
have it, if we have it,
Ben, I don't want to hear if we have it. I know.
I mean, me. I'll make the whole show about this stuff. I love it. Everyone knows in my chat.
We have it. It's not a question of, dog, I learned about it.
You're going to pull me down a rabbit hole. We'll be here till midnight.
I'm not. I'm just saying we have it. Like it's in, like we've been going to Mars since 98 in 5 hours.
I know we talked about
We have all the technology, right?
Yeah,
like
I told you my buddy flying out to that secret facility.
I'm telling you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
I hope you're right. But if we are, then here's the thing. Why don't we just be like, look, okay, look at me now. Look what we can do.
So I think the bigger play is, I'm gonna go back to the Rothschilds and the Goldsteins.
Yeah.
They do not want to decentralize the oil dollar. And if you break out all that technology, the oil is gone.
Right.
Like combustion engines are gone.
No, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Like too much of the world's economy is based on oil. For them to break out something that doesn't cost anything. Here's the other thing, Ben, and this is the thing that I like most about the technology. I can live anywhere in the world and be anywhere in the world in 10 minutes. So if I wanted
with the new tech, with this new technology,
I could live in Thailand and come to work in the United States, commute to work in the United States, right? Like I could live in the middle of BFE, Oklahoma or Nebraska, and have the cost of living be a $100,000 house, and I could work on Wall Street every day.
It'd be amazing. But let me say this too, and honestly, all that sounds amazing, and it's just they have to show it, or they have to use it. And here's the thing. Power only exists in people's minds. If people don't believe you have power, this is a big problem, everybody. So if people don't believe you have power and you need to show them you have power, sometimes there's a cost. And that cost is you need to flex on them. You need to take coercive action. You need to show the power. And that can cost you a lot of money. Show it. Because when they think all hell will break loose, or they'll cut off our money, or they'll cut off this and that, that's power in their minds. It's coercive power. It's the ability to influence other people's decisions. And I want to say this. Right now, in my live stream on Wednesday, you guys that were here for that know what I'm going to talk about. But right now, something just happened a few days ago that is threatening U.S. economic power. And it's just the beginning. What happened is that Russia legalized Bitcoin for international trade. And here's why. The U.S. could all the time be like, yeah, you don't want to play our rules. You don't like what we're saying? You're not getting paid. No oil, no metals, precious metals, nothing. You can't get paid because it comes through SWIFT, the SWIFT messaging system, which has to come through New York, and we can shut it off. Russia, Putin just signed a massive crypto thing for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now they can do all kinds of deals in Bitcoin. In 2025, they did an $11 billion deal in Bitcoin as a test. And so now, based on that test, they've said, okay, we're going to do the end run on New York, the end run on the U.S. Financial markets, U.S. financial system, U.S.-led financial system. Bitcoin, Ethereum, we can use that. No government can control it. That's the whole point of Bitcoin. Why it was created by Satoshi. And the question I have for my audience is, if you don't think they have some kind of sneaky deaky deal going with Iran right now already, and they're getting paid in Ethereum and Bitcoin to keep the show running, I think we're mistaken. I think for sure we're wondering, how are they still doing this? How is Iran still here? And then you hear Victor Davis Hanson the other day saying, this war is costing Iran $500 million a day. Dude, $500 million a day. Right now, they should be crying uncle. They should be like done. But they're not for some reason. How are they still doing it? I think it's this. I think Russia's run a test with all their partners, with China, with Iran, with anybody else. And they're saying, yeah, okay, why don't we take advantage of this Bitcoin stuff and do it? Just use that. That's what I think is happening.
So you said a good point, Ben. You said sometimes you're forced to flex power, right?
Yeah.
I want to remind people that we wiped 2 Japanese cities off the face of the earth
100%.
in the course of like 7 days or 14
100%.
days, whatever it was. We have digressed into shooting marbles at people,
Right.
which, in my opinion, is the reason we're in the situation we're in the first place. Okay. Now, I will tell you this. I would be dropping Moabs.
That's a good
right?
point.
The 30,000 pound nuclear, nuclear looking bomb. And they don't cost very much. They're fuel air mixture bombs. They're not super expensive. I'd go over to Iran and drop 100 of them at one time, all at once. All of them go off at one time. And then I would say, hey, man, listen, if you want us to come back, we'll come back. But see, we are doing exactly what we learned not to do in special operations. We are not exhibiting violence of action. 0 to 1,000 instantly. We are on this progressively. We're still down here in the 10 range, playing little 10 games. And we want to get a reaction that a 1,000 movement would get us.
But I want to go back to the question too. And Jake, I think you're right. I mean, obviously you're right. That's what's happening. But the question we come back to again, why did that decision get made? Who really made it? Was it Hegseth? That wasn't Netanyahu. Was it Hegseth? Was it the team? Was it Trump? Or was it the empty warehouse? Was it the empty magazine? You know what I mean? So
here's what I'm going to say, Ben. I like this theory a lot. Yeah. Israel said, we're going to go nuke Iran if you don't get involved.
Damn.
And that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
That makes sense.
So instead of having a nuclear war happen,
instead of like,
okay,
they're like, hey, we're getting, because they're getting chewed up by Hamas. Hamas is wearing them out, bro. Right. And Hamas is a proxy from Iran, right? We know that
for sure.
But here's what I'm gonna tell you: it is what it is. I go back to the president. If the president was swinging dick, he'd have just been like, go ahead.
Right.
Because what we're gonna do is just let you get killed, because everybody's gonna run nukes to your place.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I think Russia threatened to attack them.
Russia told them.
Yeah,
Russia told them. Like,
and so then they know that we're gonna have to get involved. Then it's gonna turn into so. Basically, you're saying Netanyahu, Israel threatened to start World War III in a bad way if we don't get involved. Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, because they're getting their whole plan over there is not going well.
Yeah.
Because Hamas is still wrecking shop, and they went into the West Bank. They tried to control that. They destroyed Gaza.
Right.
Now Trump's talking about taking over Gaza, right? And like everybody's like, holy shit, like he's gonna turn it into the next French Riviera, which he'll do.
Right.
Right. So anyway.
Well, let's I think we hit that one pretty hard. Let's jump into this next topic. We're going to talk about Gen Z service members and Gen Z civilians. This is Jake, wind up for this. It's right in your alley. Versus military GWAT veterans and all other veterans. The standards, performance, mindset. Do they want to serve? We'll start off with that first of all. Gen Z civilians, do they want to serve? Let me play this little video. I think this will be a good little stage setter for it. And if I can find it here we go. And now I got to add it to the stage. I'm learning all these tricks, everybody. Hopefully you guys are everyone at home is going to know how to run the StreamYard stage as well, because I'm talking about it out loud. All right, here we go.
The Gen Zs of America just don't want to fight.
According to the Pentagon, every branch of the military, except for the Marine Corps and Space Force, missed its recruiting goals.
Men used to go to war, and now they post semester dumps with 20 photos.
Men used to go to war. Now they just cheat and lie and post photo dumps.
71% of Americans aged 17 to 24 cannot even qualify to join the U.S. military.
Men used to go to war.
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 Now they send selfies every day to girls trying to look good.
All right.
So here's what I'm going to say. 78% of America is not qualified to join the military. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it starts.
Yeah.
They should introduce Fight Club in elementary school. Okay. Elementary and middle school, you should be able to fight. Okay. I saw a video of a young man that I know, his dad. Kid was mushing his face. Okay. So the other kid beat him up. 5 hits to the face. He got expelled from school because they said it was excessive. Okay. And I looked at that and I said, man, we've gone the wrong direction, man. We're doing 2 things. We're telling the kid that you can mush somebody in the face without repercussions.
Yes,
and we're also telling the other kid you can't defend yourself if somebody is physically harming you.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have, right? The second problem we have, social media is killing America, but I think it's absolutely 5th generation warfare from China and from everybody else to absolutely erode the baseline of America. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
You can say what you want. The second that hard times appear, I think that the hard people will show back up because we love to fight as a country. Okay.
Strategic culture. Yeah. The American Old West Cowboys, all that stuff.
This generation, I mean, I got a 14-year-old, right? I see it. You know, we're going through some change in my house.
Yeah.
You know, left to their own devices, man, it's video games and social media, and you get a 15-year-old, 25-year-old.
Right.
Okay. It's called adult adolescence. So a male's brain develops 20%, mainly risk tolerance and social interactions from 15 to 25. The endorphins dropped by video games are larger than heroin and more consistent than sex.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
So video games give you more endorphins.
So you don't want to do anything else.
You don't want it. Nothing can win.
Yeah. Yeah.
If sex can't win, you know how powerful it is.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And so you end up with a 25-year-old who's making decisions and has the mental capacity of a 15-year-old. And there's nothing you can do about it. Once they hit 25, there's no more development.
Interesting. Interesting.
No
Yeah. And that's why they say also a lot of people that are caught up in addiction, they get caught up, their brain development had stopped at the time they really started heavily using. And so they have a lot of like cognitive therapy, occupational therapy. Let me read this real quick. And so culture clash inside today's military is what we're going to hit on. And I know, Jake, you could talk on this for a whole hour or two. I'm going to tee you up.
I'm being quiet. I'm good.
I want you to do this is, definitely some softballs for you too. But the setup for this is the older vets, the GWAT generation came up under, the because I said so type of leadership. Why? Because it's a freaking order. That's why. Many of today's Gen Z troops push back on that and they want to know why before they buy in. And furthermore, they will talk about toxic leadership. They'll talk about, harsh living conditions, all these things. And so the GWAT vets see this as soft or entitled. And so, is the military adapting itself to Gen Z, or does Gen Z rising up to the military? And just a quick thing there too, Samuel Huntington, the civil military relations expert, I think he's like, Harvard professor, had said that the military in a democracy is a reflection of the society. So I'll leave you with that. What do you think there? Is Gen Z changing the military, or are we molding them to the American way of war and how we fight? Or do you see it like Samuel Huntington that, hey, in a democracy, the military has to be a reflection of the society?
I will say from my guys on the ground, the military is still the military.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Because less than 1% of America has served in the military, I still think we're able to find that 1% of hard guys. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Do we still have a lot of problems? Absolutely. Right. Do we have like these TikTok girls and guys in the military? Yes. Do we have dumb shit? Like, I mean, I'll say this. Kid just got kicked out the Naval Academy on Wednesday because he refused to shave.
Wow.
Okay. Got kicked out. Just had 2 kids get kicked out the Naval Academy because they refused to train for the PRT.
Talk about blowing an opportunity. How stupid. What the hell?
Firsties.
No, that's crazy. Do you think they wanted to get kicked out?
No, I just think they're dumb. Okay, they're soft and they're dumb. Okay?
Remember when we were on with Bobby and you were talking about the kid from Michigan crying because he had to go to class
at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Parents paying for school.
Right.
He was crying.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Soft and dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, here's
Yeah.
the deal. The
Yeah.
Gen Zs don't want to give anything. This is
Mm.
directly correlated to video games and social media. Directly.
Right.
Anytime they die in a video game, they just hit respawn. There's no
Mm.
repercussions for a death, or there's no repercussions. There's
Interesting.
only rewards. So
Interesting.
they have
Yeah.
no barometer
Yeah.
for long-term struggle for gain.
Interesting. Interesting. Which is
Okay.
a key predictor. It's a huge predictor. Actually, in my inner circle
Huge.
coaching membership, my inner circle coaching mastermind, which meets weekly, we talked about this and talked about the neuroscience behind it, because one of the predictors for success is your ability to have frustration tolerance, which means your ability to also be patient, which means your ability to have delayed gratification, okay? Which also includes your ability to focus. And what does focus mean? All my inner circle members out there, I know some of my Ferocious Optimist coaching membership members out there as well. Focus means follow one course until successful. And when you're constantly seeking dopamine, like Jake's saying, shiny object, I'm talking in business, in school, in life, in your career, follow one course until successful. You won't hit the S, success, until you have high frustration tolerance, until you have patience, until you can have what Jake is saying, delayed gratification. So your ability to succeed directly is connected to your ability to not get the instant dopamine, to be able to deny yourself some of the things and do hard things. So 100%, man.
Yep.
It's just wild how it all connects.
But here's the deal. If we don't do something about it, like I'm just going to say this because I'm going to go look at Japan. Okay. Japan is about 15 years ahead of us in technology.
Right.
Not functional technology, but social media and technology.
It was all those years fighting Godzilla and Rodan.
They're a far faster adopter of technology.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Their age of virginity is increased by 10 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
10 years.
Interesting.
In the last like 25 years.
Wow. Interesting.
And it's directly related to social media. Because I don't know if you remember this. In the early 90s, they had these dogs on these keychains. And you had to
like
feed the dog.
Gigapet.
Yep, Gigapet.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that and you say, hey, where are we going? And you look over there and you say, ooh, Japan is saying like they're trying to have sex tourism now because they're not having any kids. Any.
Yeah.
Like they're like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy.
And so when you look at it, you're like, where are we going? That's where we're headed. Because if you don't turn off the social media, which you'd have people going crazy.
I saw some thumbs up and high fives after that last comment.
In Texas, we got rid of phones in schools.
Right. Yeah.
Huge move. Move.
Right.
Okay. But until you get rid of video games, like my son played probably 2 hours of video games today with his friends.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
right.
And that's I'm not gonna say that's abnormal, but it's getting shut off. School starts on Monday and that shit's over. Okay. He will get 1 hour of video games on Saturday morning and that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have open court. Absolutely, because I've seen the damage it's done, and now I'm trying to fix it in a 14-year-old. Right. And it's if you stop it early, you have a chance.
Right.
But we're building a bow and arrow backstop, which is gonna be awesome. The best bow and arrow target I've ever had. Yeah.
Fantastic. Get them actually doing some real things. I think, I think about like we live in this. So with Gen Z not being able to just take the I told you so type of leadership. Now I'll say one thing that was always really important for me as a leader throughout all my time in the Marine Corps, whether it was in the infantry and Force Recon, the Marine Raiders, was being able to give the commander's intent, like the why behind the order. And so it's funny because the Marine Corps I thought was pretty progressive in this way. Because the Marine Corps' reputation is really, Jake being really like, I told you so, damn it, rah, and all this. So I was pretty surprised, like when I was in and I'm going through infantry officer course or through the basic school and I'm getting my orders processed down. And they were like, we always give the commander's intent. This is the reason why. So everyone on the team can know. They said, because sometimes the mission's going to go to hell. And when it does, they need to understand, well, what was the real reason we needed to do this? And they can get creative. The whole point was then they can get creative. So, in some ways, if we're not doing that, telling people the why, telling them why is not weakness to me. As a leadership perspective, it's adding more probability for success. For you and I both coach, Fortune 500, we coach senior leaders, founders, owners, all those things like that. One of the most powerful things is when you see a leader who's very, very authoritarian, and they can't understand why it's important to actually understand where their top performers and where their people are coming from, and then to sell them the vision. Why? They're like, I don't need to sell them. They work for me. I pay them. Got it. Do you want to win more, or do you want them all just to be like, good's good enough? Oh, he said, this is why we're in a competition with the dumbass company. The dumbass company is going to overrun us and take all our money. And I always tell them, here's one of the things I told people, okay, when I've given talks. I know you've given a lot of talks too. When I talk to them, I say, look, you want to know why it's important to win? You want to know why you need to listen to me today? Because if you don't, some of you are going home permanently. And if you go home permanently, guess what? These are the real repercussions of not taking on board what I'm saying. They didn't bring me in here to talk to you for fun. I'm here for a reason to train you.
Yep.
And this is the reason why. So you got to, if you want to be a leader, leadership is the art of getting people to do what you want them to do because they want to do it. That's right from General Eisenhower, and so
100%.
That's where the intent comes from.
So here's the other thing, Ben. You're talking about the why, right? They want to know the why, but I'm going to tell you the bigger problem.
Yeah.
They have no resiliency to take criticism.
100% on that.
They will not take coaching.
Yeah.
They will quit.
You're right.
They'll quit.
Yeah.
Like they will quit right in front of you. I think I told you this. I talked to a young lady that I've known for 10 years. She's 22 now, finishing her master's degree in accounting.
Yeah.
And she told me, I want a job I can work 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I want a good quality of life. I only want to work 30 hours a week. I said, you're an accountant.
Right.
Like accountants work long hours. And then I wanted to say, you're not going to have a job in 5 years anyway. So I think you're going to be very mistakenly unemployed because there will be no accountants. Right.
Like, what's so funny too? You say that. I had a guy not long ago that I worked with who wanted to go into special forces, wants to do all these things like that. He's working a job. He's trying to get ready to go into special forces. And actually I directed him your way too. He was working with me. And I said, look, my friend, this is like what he does all the time. I can help you with it. But, Jake is a scalpel in this. He's going to, be the most precise. But the thing was, to your point about not taking coaching and criticism, like, I think he started following everything, doing well. But as soon as he had any adversity at work, it was like he just got overwhelmed with stress and he like gave up on everything. And so, I'm trying to
quit immediately.
Yeah.
Quit. I just had a guy.
Not kidding.
So I got a bunch of dudes going SEAL officers, right?
Yeah.
Every year I have probably, let's say I have about 10 a year. And every year I'll have about 4 of them who believe that I'm doing too much. Okay. And I'll try to explain
that they're doing too much for it.
They're doing too much. They don't need to do this much.
And let me just add my 2 cents. Listen, if you're thinking that out there, any of you right now, you ain't seen nothing yet. You wait till you get there. Jake's telling you right.
Yet.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So I had an individual went to SOAS in the second block and got throttled. Okay. and when I say throttled, like embarrassed. Now he didn't quit. He made it through the week.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, did you go to SOCOM Athlete like I asked you to? No.
No, of course not.
How many yards a week were you swimming? 1,200 or 12,000.
Right.
I said, okay, how many are you supposed to be swimming? 25,000.
Right.
I said, how many times did I ask you to go SOCOM Athlete? He said 3 times.
Right.
I said, you went 0. He said, yeah. And I said, so what was the problem with SOAS? It was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Right.
Okay. So you're telling me that your opinion of what you were going to was down here. You thought it was going to be down here, and it ended up being way the fuck up here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you thought once you get there, the thinking ain't going to help you no more. And he was like, damn.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
and
So I think to your point, I think whether you're Gen Z, GWAT, or you're not even military, you're just, but the thing is, these lessons that Jake and I are talking about, these case studies, apply to everybody. You put your own framework, your own template.
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Don't assume, for example, starting a business, don't assume it's going to be easy. You need to do the old thing 10X, we all talk about. You need to do probably 10X what you think you need to do to get up to speed. Block off more time than you think you need to know. I'm saying if you're making 20 phone calls a week, you better bump that to 200, to 1,000, and outreach, reaching clients, customers, all these things like that. You got to get airspeed and altitude as fast as possible.
Airspeed and altitude,
That's
100%. So
That's
Ben,
it.
I'm looking at a company right now.
Yeah.
Looking at a company right now. And originally the owner wanted to leave, right? I'm going to leave. So I got turned on this acquiring minds. Okay.
Nice. Smart.
And I looked at it and was like, oh my God.
Right.
I was about to make, and I will say this, I don't think I would have bought it if he wouldn't have stayed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
very smart.
My risk aversion was a lot higher
than
it is now. And I'm like, oh no, I want you to stay. I want you to keep 30%. I want you to be involved. And when you look at it, you're like, well, where'd that come from? That came from listening to 32 2-hour podcasts over the last probably 3 weeks on Inquiring Minds. And hearing people. I'm going to tell this story. Okay. If you guys you don't know what Inquiring Minds is, and you're trying to go buy a business, there is a Inquiring Minds that has a black dude on the left, the normal Inquiring Minds on the right. He bought a cemetery maintenance business in March of 2019. Okay.
Right.
And he went out of business. He lost everything. He now lives with his brother, his wife, and 2 kids. Okay.
You think due diligence? What was it? What happened?
Nope. They had standard contracts. On average, they were doing 2 burials for 30 different cemeteries. Okay. So 2 burials a week. They had, a staff with like 15. They had the backhoes. They had the trailer. They show up, dig the hole. They had the machine to lower the caskets. The cemeteries were basically just everything else, right? They were selling the spot, and these guys managed the cemetery and the grass cutting. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Well, COVID happens.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And they were on a flat fee. So they went from burying 2 people a week to 28 people a week. Okay. And it was interesting because we talk about leadership.
Yeah.
And the guy, in my opinion, doesn't have any leadership. Okay.
Right.
Because he continued to service these contracts in a world cataclysmic event, which is in every document. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I had to honor the contracts. And my first thought is like, no, I just wouldn't show up to the cemetery. I would tell him, hey, bud, you're paying for 2 a week. Now you're about to pay per everything over 2 weeks. You're going to pay per.
And here's the thing, to Jake's point. So anybody out there, at the same time, we're going to get sometimes you get people who would say, well, you had a contract. But here's the thing. Just like we talked about earlier, the connecting file to Hegseth, having to do things uncomfortable, having to have the hard conversations with Democrats to sell them on his bill, right? Again, it's not a political channel. I don't care how you vote. I'm not trying to tell you to be angry at anybody. We're using this as leadership case studies to get something for you, for your life. That's what we hope you get out of when you come to this channel, okay? And so into our podcast for the War Room Recall for all of us together. So I think the connecting file, though, like Hegseth has to sell. This guy needed to see the difference in the situation and level with him. Be like, look, man, things have changed. I can't keep this up. I'm going to get buried. I'm doing 10 times the work. So
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
He's doing 30 times the work.
30 times. Okay? Yeah. Okay.
But think about this. And this my whole time I'm running through this in my head.
Yeah.
If I lose 200% of my customer base goes from 30 cemeteries to 5, but I'm doing 28 burials a week in 5. Yeah. I'm making 10 times the amount of money.
Right.
As I was making service in 30.
And less logistics.
And I'm cutting less grass.
Yeah.
And so when I thought about it, I said, okay, poor leadership. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a business in 2002.
And unwillingness to adapt. Unwillingness to adapt.
I had a business in 2002. This is my best failure case study from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
I was selling Navy SEAL t-shirts at air shows. Okay.
All
I
right.
had 13 air shows on the calendar in 2002. It rained at 11 out of 13 air shows.
What?
11 out of 13.
Oh my gosh.
I sold $60,000
What?
worth of merchandise at the Andrews Air Force Base Air Show in the rain.
What?
Okay.
So people bought more in the rain.
No, my dude said he normally does between $150,000 and $200,000 at the Andrew Air Show.
Okay. Okay.
So I sold $60,000 in the rain. I might have sold $150,000.
Okay. I see.
Okay. But my point is, if you're in the air show business and it rains at 11 out of 13 air shows, I don't care how good your product is.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody at the air show to sell it to.
That's it. Yeah.
Right?
And so, I mean, I think, one of these things too, and we're talking about Gen Z versus GWAT, old school versus no school. And honestly, there are people from the old school who also don't want to be coached, who also don't want to adapt, who also don't want to try.
Oh,
and I want to say this right now too. I don't care how young you are or how old you think you are. There is some way you can improve, some way you can step up. You can do more reps in something, okay? That will make a difference for you. And so important. Mindset, right? Your energy, your attitude, your outlook, all these things. I always talk about your relationship to fear. Is fear a driver for you where you know it's a signal for growth, or does it shut you down because you're afraid to lose, afraid to be criticized, and cut down? All these things matter so much. And then on top of all of it, what is your identity for this? Who do you believe you are? What is it you always do? What will you never do? This matters a lot. And I'm telling you, your identity will be influenced by your energy and by your environment. You got the wrong people around you, it's going to hurt you. So
I had an opportunity to buy 13 liquor stores in San Antonio.
How'd that go?
I couldn't do it.
Right? What was the reason?
I just couldn't do. I don't drink.
Yeah,
right.
And
if I buy 13 liquor stores, I'm gonna be selling 10 times the amount of alcohol they selling now.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. I said I can't do it.
Right.
I can't. If I have 13 liquor stores, they're gonna be the best 13 liquor stores in San Antonio. I'm gonna be selling hundreds of millions of dollars of liquor. And it just doesn't. Just like I had a friend that wanted to start growing weed. Right.
Yeah.
And two things politically, I felt like
this is identity. This is identity right here.
Yeah. Getting ahead of his skis. And now they just shut weed down in Texas. So I'd have had a weed farm and it would be done.
So much money sunken into it. You'd be done.
Gone.
Yeah. That's wild. But I think that matters a lot because again, I would just say Gen Z with the military, you got to make up your mind, who are you? Who do you want to be? And the same thing if you're not Gen Z. Again, what is it you want to accomplish? What's your purpose? What's your mission? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a mission tied to something bigger than just yourself? Do you have a vision? How do you control your thoughts on a daily basis? Where do you put your time and energy? All of these things matter so much. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times when people don't want to be coached, there's such a fear of failure. There's such a fear of, I've seen it so much where people are afraid that if they get criticized, if they get, coached, if they're told they're not doing something wrong, it's catastrophic. They're no longer going to have respect. Their dreams are going to be shattered. They're going to be told they're not good at something. I got news for you. You're not going to be good at something the first time you do it, even the fifth time you do it. Until you do it about 50, 60, 100 times, you're not going to be good at it. Okay. It's just point, period, paragraph on that. So, the question I have here too is, what do you think is one thing that Gen Z does better than others do? What would you see based on what you've been seeing out there?
I will say this: Gen Z is 1,000 times smarter,
okay,
and 1,000 times worse at figuring out problems.
Interesting, super interesting. Why is that?
A physical problem that they have to solve, they struggle with. A intellectual problem that they have to solve, they can crush. Like technology wise, like my son. Okay, this is an example.
Yeah.
Okay. We're at this museum this morning, the National Guard War Museum up in Austin. there's this huge battlefield from the Battle of San Jacinto. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's 8 feet by 10 feet long in a glass case. All these figurines, cannons, horses, cavalry, everything in this case, right? My son says, Dad, how many people you think is in this case? So I'm fucking 54. I looked at that mug. I said, man, there's about 200 people in there. He said, I don't think so. I think it's more. Pulls out the phone, takes a picture, goes to the picture, circles the picture. How many people are in this picture? About, 10 seconds later, it comes back. There are roughly 900 people. No. 900 mini figurines reenacting a battle scene in this picture. He said, Dad, I told you. I knew there was more than 200. You're just like, God damn. Okay. But functionally, what is that good for? You tell me. Right? Because on the functional side of it, now that young man don't struggle with nothing because he's been building Legos his whole life.
Right. Okay. But if you know how to leverage technology, it can help you a lot too. But the thing is,
yes,
I say, like when I work with AI, and I know everyone has different ideas of AI in the audience, but I'm going to say I treat the AI like an employee. I have to coach it, mentor it. I need it to do specific things for me. I'm trying to get more work done than just what I can do myself. But in fact, sometimes I don't even want to use it because it's the coaching problems of building this like employee. The agent is a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy. And when it's working, good, it helps. But it's like if you have a new employee, you got to train it, coach it, correct it, and you got to spend time. So it doesn't solve everything. And I saw something in the chat too. Someone said that real leaders are born, not made. I think there's something there. I want to say that, there's some of that for sure, that there's possibility of that. There's certain things allow you to be a better leader. Maybe you have certain characteristics, certain, genetic advantages. But I want to tell you that leadership at any level that is complex with a number of people in hard situations is really something that is taught. Leadership is a skill. You have to know how people work, how their brains work, why people do what they do. Communication is a skill. You can't, you're not born a good communicator. You have to learn the skills of communication. So I'm going to push back on you a little bit on that. I see what you're saying. Some people have advantages, but I really think leadership skills are taught. You have to want to be a leader. Jake has said this all the time since, I remember him saying, I only work with champions. And I remember one time we had a discussion about that, and I got it later on why he said that. Only people who desire to be champions. You can be a champion here and here before the medal shows up or before you take first place. So I'll push back on that for you because there are two things, a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. If you have a fixed mindset and you say you either got or you don't, and that's it, you're going to hold yourself back. You're going to hold your team back, and you're going to keep your expectations and your standards lower for your team. You're going to let people slide on by, say, well, he doesn't have it or she doesn't have it. But they do. You got to find it and you got to develop it and you got to push them on it. Okay. So I'll push back a little bit on you, but I hear what you're saying, but don't underestimate what people can do. Don't let them slide. Don't let yourself slide. Expect more. Okay. And don't let a disadvantage. Sometimes your greatest disadvantages turn out to be your biggest strength. I'm telling you, because you develop other things in other ways. So what are you going to say, Jake?
No, I just was going to say, like, the born versus nurtured, right?
Yeah, nature, nurture.
This is what I want to say about it.
Yeah.
I think the best dude I've ever evaluated, I knew he had rock stars for parents, okay? But I didn't know his dad was a West Point graduate astronaut. The best dude I ever evaluated. Like I'm talking about so far on the superstar scale, I was like, Jesus Christ, right? I had some real conversations with this guy because I said, how were you raised? He said, my dad was an astronaut, West Point graduate, right? So that the analogy I'm going to use, if we were back in the 50 or in the, let's say the 1700s, and we had to go out and
dad's the astronaut.
Yeah, we had to go out and fight the Apache Indians. Okay. And we showed up right now with, let's say we showed up with 100 just Gen Zers. Let's say they were militarily trained and we're going to fight, let's say 50 Apache warriors. We would get slaughtered. Okay. And some would argue, oh, we weren't born to be warriors. And I would turn around and say, were you shooting grasshoppers at 4 years old with a bow and arrow?
Right. Right.
Right? Were you shooting grasshoppers with a bow and arrow at 4 years old? The answer is no. You didn't spend your whole life in a warrior mentality.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't spend your life in a warrior culture where all you did was train to kill.
Right.
So,
right.
Like, are you telling me that half of the Apache Indians were not, like, they didn't have the innate ability to become killers?
Right.
You ain't gonna say that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They probably had a couple Fruit Loops in the crew, but for the most part,
yeah,
like, you grew up with a bow and arrow in your hand, no different than lacrosse, right? Like, we talk about this up in Syracuse and the Thompson brothers and cousins.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. That's right.
You got lacrosse.
There.
They're slinging the crossballs at fucking before they can walk.
That was like what I grew up around. People like at young age doing all that. And then because also lacrosse was made in upstate New York, it was 100%. Called Begataway with Native Americans, and it was a violent killing sport, So I hear you, man. I think, I just think like there obviously if there's a physical aspect to the leadership you're doing, if you have some physical advantages and you're tough, you'll obviously could rise to the front and be seen as more of a leader. So it just depends on, sometimes they're fish who are out of water, right? Like they say, if you put the monkey in the ocean, try to tell it to be like a fish, it's going to look stupid, but put it in the trees, it looks genius, So, I mean, I think it also depends on the environment someone's in too.
I will concur with that 1,000%.
Yeah.
Because I can take somebody in one environment and know they're not made for that environment. 100%. And I liken this. I'll give you this example. I'm dealing with it right now. Yeah. So I got a bunch of kids at West Point. Literally, I have like 15 kids at West Point, about 20 at the Naval Academy, and 2 at the Air Force Academy. Okay.
Right.
The service selection is coming up for 2 of my seniors.
Yeah.
One of my seniors fell into the trap. I want to be an infantry officer. I said, hey, bud.
Yeah.
You have a 1590 SAT score. And I know you've been on the Sandhurst team for 3 years, but you're one of the biggest nerds in the history of fucking. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just dial that back and go engineering.
Dial that shit back a little bit.
And so, but he's listening. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rewind 4 years. I told a kid the same thing. He said, no, I'm going to be an infantry officer. He's now an infantry officer and he's dying. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's going MI. He's going to go MI.
Yeah.
But he spent this 4 years in the infantry and he's like, God, I fucking told you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to be a rock star in intel and you're struggling in infantry because you're not a door kicking, knuckle dragging. You're a monkey trying to swim in the ocean.
That's it. And the thing is too, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just recognizing. So I think we get some comments like that too. Comments like that. And I'm not disagreeing with, I didn't see who said, I just saw it come across, but I appreciate, bringing up the good conversation. So I hear you though, brother, because you may have had somebody with you where you're just like, this dude doesn't belong here. This shouldn't be leading here. And you might be right about their environment. Right. But I think one of the things that I saw is just, you got to have the desire to lead, and then you got to be in the right environment for you, because this person might be better off somewhere else. So, I mean,
all right, let me hit this one. Yeah. So I have
we're going to hit the next one.
I have a rock star from the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give any names or dates. And I'm going to say he ended up betting on himself in a major way. Okay. He ended up at a place, they went out of business on Wall Street. He was at Lehman Brothers. It blew up. He didn't have a job. I gave him the business.
Crazy, by the way.
He called his 71 mentor from the Naval Academy. He got him a job, and he went to work at one of the premier money management places in the world. Okay. He was there 10 years, and he was a rock star. Okay. He got an offer to go over to Goldman Sachs to run one of their businesses as a 34-year-old person. Okay. And we were talking about, they were offering him $3 million a year on a 3-year contract. And he just had to run a business. Okay. Which he was very, very capable of doing. And I had to sit him down and I said, listen, man, 80% of your success is your environment. Only 20% is who you are. So I don't want you to think that you're going to be able to go into a new environment in a totally new demographic of people.
Yes, right.
And
right,
replicate the success you've had.
Right.
When you're going to be dealing with at least 5 people that work for you that wanted that job.
Right.
I said,
man. Oh man.
You will be bled out in 18 months and you'll be fired.
And so this is one of the things everybody, you know, as well too, and my own chat will know this, but for everybody more broadly, something I teach as well is I call it the 7 forces of ferocious optimism, right? And this is like how you push through to gain success, to overcome obstacles, all these things. One of the most important is environment. And that's what Jake and I are talking about, identity, but then also environment. Because if you're in the wrong environment, you know, it's going to sap your energy. It's going to push back on your identity. You can become more fearful. You're going to be a square peg in a round hole, fish out of water. And it's going to be an uphill battle the whole way. Whereas if you practice being in the right area for you, it's going to help out quite a bit. Just, lends itself to everything we're saying. On top of that, if you're already in the right area for you, okay, right now, but you're still not making a breakthrough, what I want to say is this: environment impacts your energy, what you consume, what you listen to, who you hang around with, right? You become who you hang around. It's a very true thing. Your energy will go up or your energy will go down. How what's your purpose? What's your mission? How much faith you have, how much grit you have, how much courage and discipline, all these things. Your environment impacts all of that on a personal, tactical level. And at the end of the day, strong teams are made up of strong people. So, if you're trying to make a breakthrough right now, you're trying to overcome some things, just my 2 cents, take a look at your environment. Take a look at what you're consuming, what you're listening to, who you're hanging around with. Take a look at, what your identity is for this. Take a look at what your purpose and mission is. Take a look at what your relationship to fear is. And then I want you to take a look at, what do you focus on? Because what you focus on, you move towards. If you're always focusing on trying to compare yourself with other people, trying to compete in environments and areas where maybe you shouldn't be in, it's going to hurt, to Jake's point for what he's saying. So, all right, man, let's hit this next one here.
Let's hit the crazy one.
Let's hit it. Okay.
We're going to hit this for 15 minutes, Ben, and we
out. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Everybody get ready for this one. Thank you for the turtle. I see that there. Very cool. All right. Okay, so this one's an emotional one, and we respect both sides of it. We're going to do both sides justice, but I mean, some of it's pretty hard to hear. I'm not going to lie. So here's what's happening. There's a loud fight online right now about VA disability ratings, especially the 100% rating. Per the Washington Post, there are 1.5 million of 6 million vets receiving payments right now that are 100% disabled. Okay, this is the backdrop. Recently, there have been a couple big influencers who have come out. One of them was an elected official as well, and they're combat veterans, and they've been coming after other veterans, saying, hey, you shouldn't be chasing 100% disabled, and telling the reasons why. There have been some big videos out there about it as well too, not to drop all kinds of dimes about it, but Jake's got a unique perspective on it as well. I've got my own perspective. We'll each put out our perspective on it, but it's something, just leading off, it gives me the feeling that, there's a system and a process in place. And if someone's going through the legal process and system in place, that pretty much should be it. And then I just feel like a lot of the veteran influencers should kind of stay out of it. That's my opinion, because one of the reasons, in my opinion, we have problems with people seeking help is exactly this type of shaming that seems to be going on right now. For a long time, it was, no, bro, I'm good. No, I don't need any help. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm not even going to go and get any help, because it's almost like the old football teams. Remember the football teams in college and pros? If you're going in the trainer, you better not be in the trainer. You better be on the practice field. Okay, so
they wanted to medically retire me.
Damn.
I told them to fuck off.
Damn.
Okay. And then fast forward 10 years, and they're trying to replace both my shoulders.
Yep.
And I was like, DEFCON Charlie. I went from not giving a shit about no VA money at all, to DEFCON Charlie. And then just 2 weeks ago, my toe has been hurting for like 7 months.
Yeah, right.
I went to the VA. I got an x-ray, and I got the joint behind my big toe doesn't have any cartilage, and it has bone spurs. And they were like, have you broken this toe? I said, yeah, 3 times in football.
And buds, football, jumping, diving.
And so now I'm like, it's interesting. Are you going to play the video? Are you gonna play it?
I'm not playing. I can
All right,
pull
hang
it
on,
up.
I got it.
but-
I got it. No.
All
Okay,
right.
so here's what I want to
I
say.
wasn't gonna pull it up. Just you know, I don't
You're
know
good.
how Jameson felt about it, but
I got Jameson. Jameson's. So here's what I'm gonna say.
yeah,
I believe that there's a bunch of, how can I say this? Are people abusing the system? Yes.
sure.
I think people abuse every system. Hell,
Right.
look at Social Security, right? People were paying, people were getting paid and they were dead. Are they abusing the system?
Right.
Absolutely.
You know,
There's
my
abuse.
thing is, why are we more concerned with fraud in California and in Minnesota? And we're coming after people that served during the GWAT. We're coming after people that served in the longest war in American history. What are we doing? Why is this the mountain to die on? What are we talking about?
All right, so real quick.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Hang on. Let me figure out how to share this. I'm going to share Jason Redman. And I'm going to preface this by saying I sat next to Jason Redman for 2 days at an influencer conference. So this is not an attack on Redman. It's not an attack on anything. Jamerson simply cut up what he was saying, and then we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. And make no mistake, he's the real deal. Redmond's,
he took heavies, man.
Yeah.
Got jacked up, I think he said he had 70 surgeries.
It's insane. He got shot up by a machine gun, I think. Not taking anything away from him.
No,
it's just I don't know where this whole thing's coming from, So.
So let's listen to this real quick, and then we're gonna talk about kind of the thought.
Veterans are so focused on this disability and that it's consuming them.
Just a flesh wound.
Number one, this is a glaring problem. Veterans are stepping out of the military, and we have created a system of disability, and it is intended to take care of.
I'm Captain Obvious.
Yes, there is a veterans disability system. And if you were injured on active duty, it's in your records, you've sought treatment, you got documentation, it's the law, right? I don't know why we're going to die on this hill. Seems like a terrible idea.
Veterans who were injured or wounded in active duty service. And guys, look, man, I got on the wrong end of a machine gun, shot up multiple times, 40 surgeries, and obviously I have earned my disability, and I'm very thankful to the United States government and the military and the VA for taking care of me for that.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because what he knows about the VA disability systems is a population of one, which is himself. He knows what he hears on the internet, Reddit. Heard this a bunch. I'll link to a video below where Mike Glover's on Rogan saying
the fear of impending doom has created this trauma inside of them, and then they want disability.
If you don't know what 38 CFR is, you should probably understand it.
All right, so we get the picture, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can unshare it. All right, I don't know how to make us bigger.
I got you.
All right,
We're bigger.
All right.
Yes.
So
victory.
So here's the deal, and there's two sides of this sword. Okay. There's the sharp side that says, hey, we cut through everything. Nobody should get disability unless they're really disabled. Okay, great. That sounds wonderful.
Right.
Then the other side of the sword says, I know for a fact the military fucks up a lot of people. Okay. And if you don't believe me, just go to any drop zone in any airborne unit and watch 5% of every drop get injured.
Yeah.
Okay. The casualty rate on a combat drop is 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, we're not doing safe shit out there. Let me say that the first one. I will say this. You're a Marine. Okay. Hips, knees, shoulders. Okay. In the SEAL teams, for whatever reason, shoulders, elbows, and knees. Okay.
Yeah.
Feet. Right?
Yeah.
Toes, ankles, lower body extremities, and hips get destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I can go to a ship and be like, I watched my CW02 get his whole arm broken off by a door on a ship. I watched a kid, one of my sailors, was rigging up the gangway. A wave picked him up, put him under, gave him a concussion. I saw him 3 years later. He was processing out of the Navy on 100% disability. And I said, hey, man, how are you doing? He's like, I can't take a shower, man. I can't take a shower. Like, severely distraught, any water, because he almost drowned. like he was
Right.
drowning in the
Right.
ocean. And you're like, hey, man, listen, I'm not here to be the judge of it, but we're talking about 1 million people. 1 million people have served in the military. That's it
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
350 million. But I don't know why.
And we're going to come
Like-
after him now. We're going to come after him and tell him, but
I mean,
and I think
I will say
think-
this.
Yeah.
I will say this. This is one thing I would say. I would not be opposed to us. So the Social Security, you can get 100% disability in the Social Security, and it's about $5,000 a month. But they do a personal investigation every 6 months. So every 6 months, they send a private investigator to follow.
You're broke. You better stay broke.
Yep. And so they send
Yeah.
a private investigator to follow you. And my buddy played the 100% game, got out of the military after a 6-year enlistment, got 100%. Then he went and got SBI, and he got caught in a gym.
What's
Like,
SBI?
Social Security benefits.
Oh, okay.
SSBI,
Okay.
Social Security, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so he got caught in the gym. Year 2, they pulled his $5,000 a month Social Security.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he had to claim that he didn't know he was in the gym.
What?
That's what he did.
So here's my thing. I think seeing Redmond, and I don't know him. You know him. I don't
Yep.
know him. My thing is, I'm guessing. Here's what I'm guessing. If we actually had him on here, which would be super cool, I bet he would say, "Look, I'm actually talking about guys like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's
100%.
But maybe I'm wrong, because when I saw this thing from what's his name, Congressman, is it Crenshaw?
Crenshaw, he's another one.
But again, I don't know if these are just sound bites, or if they're going after everybody, or just people like the one you just described. I gotta think that's what they're going after, though. I
But
gotta
that's
think
the
it's
whole
like,
thing, right?
Yeah.
Like my boy
Yeah.
Marvin, he's dead. I could say it. He died. Okay.
yeah,
But he had to build a whole gym in his basement because he was not like he
Right.
wasn't allowed to, like. So there's guys like that, right? You move to Thailand, they ain't coming to Thailand to investigate you, right? I got a couple guys over in Thailand.
right.
I'll tell you the big one.
But I'm gonna
Here's
tell
the
you-
big one.
Yeah, go
I
ahead, hit it.
got a big one for
Yeah.
you. This
Tell me.
one is incredible to me.
Yeah.
So when we had the DSPs and we're delivering packages for Amazon,
What is a DSP?
delivery service partner, the blue vans for Amazon. Okay. And so we run those, you get these Reddit threads and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
do you want to get on workman's comp? It's awesome. Just go to work for an Amazon company, fall out the van on your first day, claim you broke your ankle, go to the doctor, and you can be on workman's comp for 2 years.
Right,
Okay.
right.
My buddy got hit with that 8 ankle injuries in 2 weeks. He
Damn.
went on Reddit. There was a whole thread about how to do it and where to go. And his
Wow.
company was in that thread.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, I'm saying that because there is a thread about how to get 100% out of the military. And let me tell you the playbook. So before Hegseth and the president took away the anonymous essay reporting technique in the military, there used to be a system you could just log in and log an essay
Mhm.
with no investigation and no repercussions.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the girls were coming to boot camp and they would log one. First time they got access to a
Oh,
computer.
Wow.
Then
Okay.
they'd wait like a month. They'd log another one.
No kidding. What?
Yep.
And this is why they get rid of it.
I think it had to do something with it.
Yeah,
Because
interesting.
then
That's
they would
terrifying.
log another one.
Yeah.
Once they got out of boot camp and went to AIT, and then they would immediately go to the shrink and say, I've been essayed 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got PTSD, and they were getting a medical discharge with a
And get-
100% rating
Wow.
and getting their $4,200
I
a
see.
month for the rest of their
I
life
see.
at 18.
Okay, so again, like we said, we're going to do justice to both sides. I gotta think personally, especially a guy like Redmond, SEAL officers, been shot up, and I gotta think he's going after people like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Not like
Absolutely.
I'll tell you two quick stories. Like, and this one's kind of a funny one. I'm a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. Juan Wick, who's out there, we were in the unit together, Frosty, and in our platoon at 1st Battalion, 7th Marines. Dude, we were following in Desert Night, and some of you guys remember this. We're following Team Tank in the desert. Okay, we're in a Humvee. Let me tell you, following M1 Abrams tanks that can go 60 miles an hour in the desert through dunes, through everything. They have an amazing suspension, and a freaking Humvee is dangerous. We were on nods. And guess what? This is what happened. Our Humvee broke down. We're waiting. Contact team comes and gets us. Team tank's gone. We're out of the fight, right? We get picked up by the contact team. They start to tow us. I kid you freaking not. I'm on nods. I look in front of me. The Humvee in front of me all of a sudden disappears. Split second later, my mind puts it together. Oh no, like a freaking roller coaster. We go off a cliff. Okay, to Jake's point, it's not safe. We go off a cliff. Boom, we fall off like 3-story cliff. We smash in the back of the other Humvee. We roll. We're freaking a mess. Thank God I was following procedure like a good little, lieutenant I was. We had our seatbelts on.
Oh, yeah.
We would have been crushed. We would have been, I would have been on here with you guys like, really messed up. And, at the time, I just got done playing college football, big, strong, tough dude. I take the hit. But things like that. And anyway, and I gotta tell you, my driver flipped out. He's like, we're going to blow up. We're going to blow up. He's trying to freak out. I go, dude, we're not going to blow up. It's not the movies. Look, we're fine. And so all of a sudden it goes, it falls over. So we're laying there. We climb out. But stuff like this is regular. It happens. And so you don't realize
regular
jacked up. By the time I got out to retire, I never thought this would happen to me. I kid you not, because I heard all the old crusty guys at Force Recon, all the master gunnery sergeants, sergeant first class, gunnery sergeant equivalent guys are like, I can't feel my freaking leg, and you're like, damn, man, you're old, and they're not really. They're like 38, looking
38,
back at
40.
can't feel their legs. All of a sudden, I'm not kidding you, Jake. I'm like, my left leg's going numb. I'm sitting there. I'm like, and I'm still like in an operational unit. I'm like, I can't like walk. I'm like, what? And so I try to play it off. I try to do foam rolling. Long story short, they're like, yeah, you got like your back is jacked up beyond belief.
Yep.
And you have nerve damage. And they started talking about this crazy stuff. Like, yeah, this could happen where you might not be able to walk. I was like, what the hell? Out of nowhere. It's wear and tear, compression, repeated compressions on your back that they don't tell you about. So, I mean, as an example, that stuff happens. I'm sure like everybody in the chat is in the military. You had something similar to what I had. It's
1,000%.
Just hits you, So
hey, make sure you hit me up before you do anything about your back, because
no, I'm better now. I'm better. Honestly, just like when I got out, it was I still have some episodes, but it's like, you're not taking the same pounding, and I'm really smart now. I'm really smart. I don't, I'm not doing stuff to mess it up. So
let me ask you this, Ben. Have you had a panic attack?
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, you hear people talk about panic attack and all this shit. You're like, oh, you're like, man, what the fuck are they talking about? Right. And I tell everybody, I'm 54 years old.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because my dad always said, I'm 48. You've never been 48, but I've been 16.
Yeah.
And now that I'm 54, I'm like, okay, I get it. Right. I had a panic attack in 2017 going to a VA appointment. I just had my last kid. And for some reason, I just felt like someone was coming to kill my whole family.
100%.
And I had a complete, like I was in clothes and I sweated through them in like a minute. And I had to pull over on the side of the road because I was hyperventilating. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Right. And then I was going to my psych visit for comp and pension.
Right.
And they were like, why are you wet? I said, man, I just had a panic attack on the side of the freeway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I got some mental health issues I got to work through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I go to Al-Anon and it helps immensely with just keeping my mindset. I started the oxygen treatment. I do probably 40 minutes a day on brain health now.
Right.
If you guys need some help on your brain, I got the brain PDF. Just email me. But it's stuff like that I tell people. You won't know you need 100% until you fucking are at like 200% disability.
Right. Like the time I was on a SDV, not SDV. What do we call those things? The DPDs, diver propulsion devices.
Okay.
And so Jake, you'll get this, you're a very experienced diver. And I just like went down. We're going, guess what? I was diving with a cold. I thought I was Superman. I never listened. I was like, dive with the cool, whatever. I got this. I'm fine. All of a sudden, we're on DPD day, and the DPD's guys are like a little propulsion, like a little mini submarine propulsion device, like a little motorcycle underwater. You hold on to it, you lash all your stuff to it, and you go, nyeh, like 3 knots or whatever. Really, it's not that fast. But you can go up and down through the water column really fast.
Really fast.
So you got to be very careful. I was with a very experienced diver. My dive buddy was Master Guns, great guy, great dude. And he's like, all right, we're good. We're good. I'm like, yeah. I powered through a squeeze. I kept powering through it until I heard psss, my left ear. And I was like, fuck yeah. I never gave in. Hell yeah. So I get out. We're coming out. We're done. We have a 4. We're coming up. We're looking at each other. You okay? I'm like, I'm okay. I take my mask off. Blood everywhere. He goes like, all I saw was his eyes like this to me. And I go, what? He goes, we got to get to the chamber. He was a dive master. We got to get to the chamber. Let's go to the chamber. How you feeling? He's like doing all these assessments to me. I'm like, well, what's going on? And everyone's like this to me, just looking at me. We went right to the chamber. I get pressed, all this stuff. And I think he did as a precaution. But end of the day, it was, I had like all this inner ear stuff and everything got smashed. And he was a real experienced diver. Like one of my friends is an Italian SEAL. Max was one of the Komsubin, like badass Italian SEALs. He goes, this is because you don't know how to dive. I was like, screw you, dude. Telling you my story makes fun of me.
Ben, were you in the swimming pool when Andy Thompson had to rescue me off the 10-meter platform when I blew out my eardrum?
No, man. No, I don't think so. Was this on our Aerialistics day? We were doing all the crazy stuff.
No. Yeah. Two-a-day. It was in 2 days.
Yeah, I remember. Okay.
I think it was my sophomore year of 2-a-day. So you would have been a freshman, right? You 96, right?
Yeah, 96. I was a year behind you.
Okay, so like it was that we were in the tank because Clint Bruce was there. No, he's 97.
Yeah, he was.
So then it was
Drew Thompson,
my senior. Yeah, it was.
We gotta get Drew on here sometime. Drew's a badass.
Yeah, and so I jumped off the diving board, off the 10-meter platform, and I was trying to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
So I kept my tight position, and I blew my eardrum out, and blood was coming out of my ear. But I got to the surface, and I couldn't keep my head above the surface. Yeah. And Andy was right there. I said, Andy, help me. And he swam over and said, what's wrong? I said, I blew my eardrum out. I can't swim.
Oh, you must have smacked on the side or something.
No, I went down to 15 feet with no Valsalva instantly, off the 10-meter platform.
Okay.
And I just remember, my ear has been fucked up ever since, right? They said it healed, but when I dive, I'll get water in it. I got to wash my ears out with alcohol and vinegar. But to your point, there's an injury in the Navy that happened in 1994, and I'm still paying for it in 2020.
That's it. That's the whole point. Like to everyone's point, what I'll tell everybody here, and this is well known. I had vertigo. I had persistent vertigo. I need you to understand, really persistent vertigo. Some people talk about my crystals got banged around. I got vertigo. No, I'm talking 24/7 vertigo for 30 days. They told me, you can't lift a weight. So they put me on 30 days medical leave. I couldn't do any pressure because they were worried that I broke the window. And someone asked how deep I was in the chat. So you're in the water column. We're not going past 20 feet on an O2 rebreather, right? On a drugger dive. And so we were going we went down to 20 feet max, maybe 19, but we were navigating the water column. And if you know anything about atmospheres, when you go from 3 to 6 feet, you're doubling atmospheres basically, right? So every and Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, but every 9 feet. Every 9 feet. Okay. So you're doubling atmospheres though. And so this is you're increasing the pressure. If you go from 0 to 9, then to 18, it's significant, And so
you can rupture your eardrum at about 9 feet.
Okay. So we were navigating up and down through there.
Anything plus 9, you can really rupture your eardrum, right?
Right.
And especially if you got blocked sinuses forward and back in front of the eustachian tubes, right?
I couldn't Valsalva. Yeah.
So if you got it blocked, then there's no telling how much air you got in there and how much air pressure your ear is going to take.
And I want to say it was a stupid move. It was a rookie move. I should have been no, I can't. But I was I'm not tapping out. I'm going. And I should have given him a couple squeezes to come bring up. I didn't. I wanted to power through. And to my friend Max's point, he goes, that's because you don't know how to dive. I was like, no, it's because I'm a stupid ass and I wanted to be tough guy. And I didn't want to say, I can't do this right now. Which brings us back to our original thought on this topic. is this thing with, veterans coming after other veterans about, because here's the thing. If we're coming after them saying, you're going after this 100% disability, like it's everything you should do. Yes, for the girls doing that crazy thing. Yes, for people flat out lying. But listen, for everyone else out there, I'm going to say my piece as a leader, okay, because that's the frig I am, that if you think you got a problem, get help. It's don't be dumb like me and be like, I don't give me a 4, take me down, blow my eardrum out. I let her do that, then quit. That's good for a gunfight. It's good for a fight. It's good for maybe something your life depends on. You're saving your buddies, but not on a stupid training dive. I should have come up. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I've got like constant like whistling in my freaking head, and it's like, and then they question you. And I'm gonna say something too. You think it's that easy to get like rated? They were like questioning me, like, do you really feel that? I'm like, shut the fuck, I was underwater bleeding out my nose. What are you talking about? My feelings. I can't even hear.
Hey, it was
nuts.
4-year process, but here's what I'm gonna say. Okay.
Yeah.
If I could pay $5,000 to have my health and my head back, I would. I would pay $5,000 a month
100%,
to have
100%.
my health back. Because I will say this, and I've told my wife, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm dealing with a lot of brain problems, okay? And I attribute it directly to football and some SEALs, but mainly because I was having balance problems as I went into the SEAL teams. And balance problems is a huge precursor to TBI. Okay. And so if I could pay my disability back every month and have a sharp brain, a clean body, and no pain, I would gladly pay. Like I'm getting PRP on both my elbows right now. My elbows tried to fall off.
That's not fun.
Last year.
By the way. That's not fun, by the way.
It's not
fun.
I
Scrub
got
the needle in there. Yeah.
The only reason that I don't have my shoulders replaced right now is because I got stem cells.
Right.
I got stem cells in my shoulders. I paid $25,000 to have my back injected with stem cells, the vertebrae, and it changed my life. Okay. Did it fix my trash lower back? Absolutely not. Do I still have 8 herniated discs between L5 and L1? And then in the thoracic spine, my neck is super fucked up.
Yeah, dude. No, I herniated discs in my neck in football.
Right.
That's what ended my
when
football
we talk
career.
about what is an appropriate level of disability for me, right? If you told me they were giving me $20,000, I would still say I will give you back that $20,000 if I can have my health back. And that's
100%.
part of it where
I agree with you. And the thing is too, they're also looking at what's going to happen to you later in life, not when you're in your 30s and you feel like you're 70. But I want to say this too. So the question is this: how do we? Because Rebin's got a point about some things, and so does the other guy, Crenshaw. I don't know either one of them, but they have a point on some things. But how do we try to fix the system for the people that are trying to game the game while also taking care of people who legitimately need help? Like what is the fix there?
I would say this: if they just did an investigation, if they did the same thing that Social Security does, you got a 6-month investigation happening, right? Every 6 months, someone comes out and watches you for a day, right? You don't know it. They just hire a private investigator. He comes out and follows you for a day. And, if you're doing dumb shit, you don't get your disability, right? Like, I'm starting to slur my words now. I'm crushing the oxygen treatment every day. It's helped immensely. Right. But I would argue, I'll show you what I do every day for 45 minutes to try to make sure that my brain does not digress into blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But here's the other one I'm going to say, Ben. I will say that I think my life has been truncated by 15 years. Okay.
Hope not.
Now, I'm breaking every law in the world. I'm using HGH. I'm using oxygen treatment. I'm using nootropics. I'm using lion's mane mushroom. I am pumping my brain full of everything that I think is going to help. Red light treatment every Monday, Wednesday, or Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday is red light treatment day.
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing all of this stuff, and I still don't know if it's going to be enough. But I know this: $4,200 a month ain't enough.
Right. I mean, it's a very good thing, and it's good that they do it. But I hear you, and what I want to say is that for me, I don't think the investigation every 6 months. I think this just is kind of a slap in the face to a lot of people, because people out there that once they get an official rating, I just think they maybe need to change the going in process. I see what you're saying. That's definitely effective. No doubt it'll work, but it's going to take manpower. It's going to take people managing systems. I think, while they're scrutinizing people for certain things, like the one you said, for those certain allegations, that leads to something else. But I think, for some of the claims and some of the claims that go through, it should just be like, well, okay, someone, got a blood disorder during it from the chemical problems on the base. Just, whatever. Like, Camp Lejeune had weird stuff like that in the water.
Burning pits.
Yeah, burning pits. You have stuff like
pits.
that, and you're showing signs from that. We don't really need to reinvestigate. This is like
absolutely. There's a bunch of things like that.
Yeah.
Like
but certain things, though, certain things maybe.
The
and
example I'm going to give you.
They do now. There's a reassessment. No, there's a
until you get to total and permanent. So like I'm total and permanent for the last 10 years. I haven't had a reassessment.
Right.
I just think there's a lot of stuff out there. I just think it's, like for me, like I do stuff now that I'm able to do that I wasn't able to do 10 years ago. Right.
Yeah.
But I tell you this, I can't use my shoulders. I can't do, I got a toe that's broke now. I'm in pain 100% of the time right now with a toe. Yeah. Right. I'm not sleeping.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I got out after 23 years, of doing this stuff, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep for even my last 18 months in service through the first year I was out until I went to this amazing pain clinic. I just couldn't sleep. I had such problems in my neck and all back here. I couldn't turn my head. And it was horrible, man. And luckily I had a good pain clinic that helped me out, but it was one of the worst things ever. Because one of the things we talk about, combination of TBI, PTSD, and chronic pain is what leads to 22 a day. It's part of what leads to 22 a day.
Absolutely. It's 37 now, I believe.
But oh
it's
my
37.
God, that's horrible. That's horrible. But
it's
all right, man.
accelerating.
We did it. We hit this point. We got this stuff. I think we'll hit the super chats now.
We got a bunch of super chats. We got a bunch. We got to do it like Nate. I love how Nate does the super chats.
We're doing them. We're doing them right now. On my own, when I'm on my own, I do them all. I do them as they come. But the combined, there's quite a few here. I'm zooming.
Okay, let's just start at the top.
That's where I'm going right now.
Forever SoCal. You can.
I'm gonna share it.
You can just do it on the right. Oh, how do you share it?
That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna share it. Well, I can do it because I've got the controls here. So
you're the man.
I just got to go. I got to go to the top first, though.
Let's go. Hey, is Brian Grana your classmate?
Yeah,
he's your classmate.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone was trying to say he was class of 95. I was like, Brian Grana is 96.
No, he's your class, man.
He lived down the street from my aunt and uncle in St. Louis. So when I visit them, I'd go crash his house. It was pretty funny.
That's cool. All right, here we go. Forever SoCal gal. Forever SoCal, become a YouTube member. Awesome. Welcome aboard. Fantastic. Let's go. And then we got next one here. Okay, put up numbers. Thank you, Jake. Your videos got me back on track. I'll be joining your champions program. I fell off mentally, physically, and spiritually. Your videos helped me find my grit, and I'm back to hunting. Thank you. That's awesome, man.
Let's go. Thank you, man.
Nice.
That's a good one. Let's go.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's go. We got Bobby Lynn. I was a USS Enterprise in the Persian Gulf, North Arabian Sea, 1987 to 88. When on station, we worked 18 hours, including watches and workday. Damn. Thank God we never had water hours or females on board. Damn. Well, Bobby, thank you, Bobby. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. That's some crazy stuff too, man, by the way. That's like real experience. 18 hours a day, though. That's like what you're talking about.
I'm telling you, Ben, because you're going to stay and watch, 1 4-hour watch.
Yeah.
You're still going to have your 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours of maintenance.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have PQS on top of that.
PQS. Tell everybody what that is, the PQS.
PQS is preventative maintenance. So you're going to have tools, equipment, and machinery that have to be maintained on a PQS schedule. And you'll have weekly PQS. You'll have daily PQS on an aircraft carrier. You'll have weekly PQS and you'll have monthly PQS. And it has to be done. Like you have to grease this fitting on the tug every day at 6 o'clock.
Damn, Bobby,
someone's got to do that.
Someone's got to do it because it's a giant machine. It's a giant technological marvel. These ships.
Yep.
Bobby, I'd love to get your take on what you're hearing from these, people out there, and your take on that, because it's this is your world too. All right, let's get to the next one here. Another one from Bobby. Okay, cool, man. Hey, thank you, Bobby. CVN65 made 400,000 H2O out of the ocean every day if all EVAPs were working. I was the water control watch that sent the water to 6,214 sailors on our 88 deployment. Damn. You can't unwrap food in a hot zone. Damn, Bobby again. Wow.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. So when they can run, so here's the interesting thing. The unrep ships can only go 13 miles an hour. So you unrep at 13 knots.
Okay.
If they can catch airplanes, but they can't launch airplanes in unrep, I believe.
Okay.
Because they can't turn the boat into the wind to get the winds, but they can arrest airplanes. I've seen airplanes land when we were unrepping, but they don't launch.
Oh, interesting.
Unless it's the right conditions. Like if they try to get us set, but like in a 2-hour unrep, if the winds change, they might not be able to do it. But we can't do food, because if they're at wartime steaming, we can't airlift cargo over, and we can't boom cargo over to aircraft carrier, because their fueling stations are just fueling stations. They don't have a cargo midships fueling station or a
That's
cargo
some dangerous
station.
Stuff, man. That's some
Ships 140 to 190 feet apart.
Damn. Collide those. It's bad news right there.
Yeah.
All right. Art Byronic 10 joules. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right. Ruby. Thank you, Ruby. Gifted 5 Ben Pappas memberships. Woo. Appreciate you.
Ben Pappas.
Thank you so much. Ben Pappas is loving it. You're a friend of the Ben Pappas channel. Thank you. Let's see. Pixel Shooter. Let's go, boys. I love y'all. We love you. Thank you so much. It's awesome.
Love you too.
Appreciate you. We got Ruby. $10. Thank you, Ruby. Appreciate it.
Hey, I gotta bust Ben's balls real quick. Ben, I love when I do stuff with you because you always have women. I don't ever have any. I have like
it's you, man. It's you bringing everybody.
I appreciate you, Ben Pappas.
I appreciate you, Jake. Hey, thank you, Ruby. Thank you so much. Means a lot. Let's see here. Bobby Lynn for CBR. A beard is a killer for negative pressure mask unless full hood. Thank you. Okay, this is what I was trying to get to, right? Okay, this is very important. Fighting fire with a Scott Air Pack, positive pressure, not a big deal. I currently wear one full beard on positive pressure for 30 minutes, no issues. Damn, thank you for explaining that. I appreciate that, Bobby.
So here's the difference.
Very generous too. Thank you.
When you have a gas mask on, you push it in so you get negative pressure, and then you're breathing through the canister so you can keep the negative pressure. Positive pressure means that his mask is always full of air, so it's pushing air out of the seal and out of his exhalation port. So he's not getting any saturation through the beard where it's not 100% seal.
Got it. So he has something pushing anything that can come in.
Yeah, he's got
anyway.
positive pressure in his mask.
Very good explanation. Bobby, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. All right. Pixel Shooter. Do you guys think it's all luck whether or not you get permanently injured, or does a good percentage of that equation rely on having your head on swivel and trying to make smart moves? I'll say this, man, smart decision. I'm going to say it's really a lot of luck. It's just you stepped the wrong place, the wrong time. I'm going to tell you guys, I'll tell you 2 quick things. You know, I had a career-ending injury in college football, right? My junior year, my second game. Actually, in the preseason, I got injured, and I played through the second game. And as one of my buddies, we talked about him earlier, Drew Thompson, fantastic defensive player. He told me, he said, you know, Ben, the only difference between you and me was, you know, I got lucky. I didn't get hurt. And we were talking about this, you know, years ago. And then another thing too, I will tell you, in service, I've seen guys go in a doorway during tough times, during, you know, high activity, let's say, you know, whatever you want to call it. Okay. During combat. And one guy was out in the doorway too long doing his job and gets the grenade. The other one's right next to him. And the shrapnel meant for him gets hit. The other guy takes it. So, you know, that's not really thinking it through. It's actually luck in a lot of ways. However, if you're doing stupid things will happen to you as well, right? But sometimes you're doing everything right, and it's just, you know, it'll still be bad for you. You know?
Let me say it a different way, Ben.
Yeah.
No one makes it through a special operations career without getting hurt.
Yeah, boom.
No
Okay.
one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm going to say it that way. Like
Very
he's
good.
saying is luck involved. And I'm saying no, luck's not involved. Everything. So let me say this. I'm gonna line it out for you. Every block of training we did is level 5. Death is imminent. And all we're doing with the safety brief and everything else is we're trying to mitigate the chances of death happening. But the training we're doing has a death quotient on it, and people are going to get hurt.
And that's called high risk training. True high risk training means you have to save yourself. Like jumping out of an airplane, you have to save yourself. Combat diving, you have to save yourself. The environment itself will kill you. That's what Jake's saying. I was thinking more of specific combat events where sometimes there is luck involved. You just, things just
there's
happen.
luck. There's some luck in everything, right? But
Right,
I'm just
100%,
saying,
100%.
even over a 3-year special operations career, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I'm going to give the example. Livingston, we're doing static line. We landed on the runway. He did a poor PLF and knocked himself unconscious.
Wow.
Okay.
Especially static line too. Yeah.
Winds were a little bit hot, like 18 miles an hour. And he caught fire getting drugged down the runway.
Yikes.
The runway is super corrugated.
Ooh.
And luckily it was on his back. And he got up and he finally woke up. He pulled his cape well. We couldn't catch him, right? He was probably 300 yards from me when he started smoking. And I was running.
He literally caught fire.
Yeah. He was like, so his pack tray and everything he was unconscious getting drug on his back down the runway.
What?
And the winds were perfect that he was just on the runway. He probably got drugged for 200 yards. But the funniest shit in the world, when he stood up, and all it really was all the nylon burning, right? All the pack tray, all of that stuff. He stood up. His helmet was flat. It looked like the cartoons. The whole back of his uniform and everything had holes in it. His shoes didn't have no more heels in them. And like, what could he do? He got knocked unconscious on landing.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, I remember seeing our sergeant major. He ran with the wind. We were jumping out of an Osprey. And all you hear is he's heading towards the trees going, my fucking son of a bitch. And I think he brought himself down. He was a big dude, big, strong guy, got out, got down, came back, but he ate some trees, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So luck is, there is some luck. And then I will say this, you're going to get hurt.
I agree 100%. The boilerplate baseline, you're going to get permanently injured. I think what I was thinking more of getting permanently disfigured, killed, things like that. That just popped into my mind, So
I mean, you could call it luck.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're doing stupid things too.
There's a big study on the tier 1 dudes. I just looked at it, and it says that the elite operators at the elite level have the canny ability to remove or take corrective action on something that they're premonitioning. I don't even know if that's the right word, but they're seeing something in the future that causes them to move or take action now. And they said,
I think that for me goes down to the 10,000 hours of mastery. That's how you have. Yeah, that's Malcolm Gladwell. Blink, the book Blink. Yep. You can see in a blink of an eye what's about to happen. So repetitions, right? So important.
Absolutely.
Zuby 4713. Should we just have private equity buy out the Army and government? Keep Air Force, Marines, SF, and a few others.
I don't know what to say to that.
I don't know either.
Let me say this. Private equity makes everything worse. They do not make anything better and simply make more money for themselves. So I don't know why you would have private equity buy out the military, because all they're going to do is make it 1,000 times less combat effective. And they're going to make billions and they'll make trillions of dollars. If you turn the Army over to private equity, they would have fucking trillions of dollars in their bank accounts for their shit. I want to say, if you're
the Armies are like, if you're going to do it, let us know ahead of time so we can get positions in there. And set us up. Now the Marines, if any of my Marines audience are probably thinking this is a good idea. The competition goes away. We'll get mission priority all the time. No, I mean, the Army has a very specific mission. They're very good at what they do, no doubt. Big Green and the killing machine right there does pretty good at what they do. All right, moving on to the next one here.
Raining. Bobby Lynn, we are not in the strip club, but we love you, brother.
Love you, brother. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
Love
so
it.
if a NATO ally wants to buy stuff, I saw this one earlier. This is great, Bobby.
Yeah,
NATO
yeah.
ally wants to buy stuff. It's bad for the non-NATO ally. Help me make this sense. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, we do have to look at who are our treaty allies and our real partners, because, Israel, we don't have the treaty with, right? So we have a treaty ally with NATO. And if we can't keep our word to treaty allies, this stuff will affect us later for deals, for soft power, for influence, for real hard power too, access. The last thing you want to do is lose treaty allies you've had who, even if they're not, lifting their fair share right now, okay, but you need to fly over, you need basing, you need reach, you need to have, the ability to reach out and touch other adversaries, influence the marketplace, influence the world. I agree with you. I mean, I see what you're saying. It doesn't make sense, right? What he's saying? Why is he saying anything? Yeah.
I want to get out of NATO, Ben.
I don't know about that, man. I'm not.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
We'll come help you if we need to. But I'm not spending all my money in European countries, and they're not spending any of us.
And here's a good discussion. I hear what you're saying.
We're 50% of the budget.
I hear what you're saying. So Trump has gotten, and I just did a little study on this, but Trump has gotten NATO allies to go from like 1.2, I believe, to 2.5% or 2.7% of GDP. So he's already done that. Now, there's a big concern right now with this because a certain country that has started some world wars and used to have a very aggressive strategic culture called Germany is resurgent and on the rise. And they're saying by 2030, they're going to be pretty scary. Okay. And so
isn't Germany a NATO ally?
Yes. But what I'm saying is if we push them out, and if we do what you're saying, we leave NATO.
Germany can start World War III again. Just fire it back.
There's a certain geopolitical thought process here. And it's by the leader of Stratfor. Okay. So in geopolitics, it has to do with geography, impacts, power, politics, moves. This is what geopolitics means. Everyone thinks geopolitics, they don't know sometimes what it really means. In geopolitical study, according to many research from Stratfor and other people out there, Germany needs to start a major war every 100 years. Okay. It's just how it is, the way it is situated as a large land country in Europe, a land power in Europe, that every 100 years, this is not me saying, it's me having read some things that a lot of strategists say. Every 100 years, they're going to want to start one. Now, if we're telling them Germany lead, they're like, no. And then all of a sudden, really? You want us to lead? Okay. And just like we've always been telling you, you can't run shit, but we can. Watch this, MFers. Here we go. We're going to lead it. And I want to tell you something else. The AfD, the alternative for Germany, is on the rise. It's the leading party right now. AfD is the ultra right-wing faction. High GDP spending, massive growth in the military, combined with the AfD's rise. And guess what? Maybe 15 years from now, we're back in Europe, but we're not fighting Russia. I know that's far-fetched. I know I'm being sensational. I know I'm being dramatic. But it is a possibility that we didn't have 5 years ago to think about, okay, or 10 years ago. You ever seen Little Jojo Rabbit, that movie? We might have a little Jojo Rabbit action happening again.
So crazy.
Anyway, I'm being dramatic with it, but,
I like
yeah,
it.
something to think about. Bobby, thank you, man. Bobby, send Ben and Jake some subs, man. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. These guys know this stuff.
Yeah, we got to send Ben some subs. Absolutely.
Thank you, Bobby. Well, you guys got to send me some more subs than Jake. Jake's in the
absolutely
100 million thousand club over there.
Listen, I got to thank Nate for it. I was like 2,000 subs away, and Nate, I stopped his channel until I got to 100,000.
That's amazing. Nate's a good dude, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And we appreciate all you guys coming over from Valhalla tonight. We're holding the fort down for Aaron. One's ready for Nate over in Valhalla. So make sure from my side, if you guys aren't following them, follow them as well too. Sub to them. But we appreciate you, Bobby. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's keep rolling here. Sir Brains and Gains, 10 joules, thumbs up. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sir Brains and Gains, 200 joules, jamming. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Dog Catcher, 10 joules, gold coin. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sir Brains and Gains, 10 joules, gold coin. Thank you very much again. We appreciate you. Sir Brains and Gains, 200 joules, jamming. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Jasmine, what's up, Jasmine? Thank you so much. Great seeing both of you together tonight. I appreciate you, Jasmine. Great seeing you too. Thank you very much. And we got Buff. What's up, Buff? Thank you so much, Buff. Let's go. Still at work, but vibing. We appreciate you making it. Thanks so much, Buff. Appreciate your support as always. Thank you. Igen0121. I know a foreign CCT operator who's wanting to join U.S. military in future. Is that wise for him to do, or is it better to look into PMC or someone else? I haven't talked too much in detail with him yet. I think the thing is this, that I think you need to join the U.S. military. I think you need at least a green card, I think, to do that. So, but in special operations, you'll have to be get a security clearance as well, too. And Jake knows a lot about this stuff, too. Just as far as I know, I think he's going to have to go through some hoops. Like, is it a PMC, private military contractor? You're just not going to have the same. I mean, you'll have military, you'll have an opportunity to make money. You might find yourself in a bad place where you don't have air cover, medevac, things like that. You got to be very careful, So I would say if you can join the U.S. military, I'm going to tell you, man, again, I said it last time on the live stream, it's like, welcome to my world of adventure, a world of pure imagination. I was like Kung Fu Panda in there. Every time you turn, there's something. You're like, what? There's this to learn. This is happening. I can learn this. I could do this. It's super cool. If it's your thing, like Jake was saying too, though, if you're a fish out of water in there, then don't do it. But I do think for your friend, I think it's a good idea. Jake, you got anything on that?
No, I'd just say my guess is he's old. And the only place you're going to do CCT work, I mean, you could do a little bit in the Army, but you're going to have to go in the Air Force. And the chances of being an old operator making it through Air Force selection is 0.
Yeah, CCT is rough, PJ.
Right.
That's
You
tough.
might be able to, they might be able to. Now, here's the deal. If he's true foreign person, he may be able to come over and go work for the agency or one of the other paramilitary organizations we have in the United States. But I would have to see, like, what country is he coming from? He coming from Iran, ain't got no chance in hell. Iran, China, or India, you ain't got no chance in hell getting a clearance. So
Right. Hey, there's always the Foreign Legion. You got that out.
Listen, my idea of the Foreign Legion changed.
Yeah, it's not as good. Yeah,
Kavanaugh has been talking about it on all these podcasts.
Right.
How he basically said, like, we were in prison. Like, you're basically you're committing to a 6-year prison sentence because you're not allowed to go out and drink.
No.
You're not allowed to leave the compound.
Well, some of those dudes need that. Some of those dudes in there are
absolutely
escaping their lives. So,
absolutely.
All
That's
right.
why you become a French citizen after the 6 years you're enlisted.
Right. All right.
And they give you a whole new identity too.
Right. That's not for everybody. Some people need that, right? So Brains and Gains, appreciate you. 550 joules. Stay hydrated. Thank you very much. And Bill D, D1E, hoo-ah to both of you. Thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Thanks for a lot of thought-provoking comments as well too, man. Very generous. Thank you so much. All right, brother. I think
Ben,
I think we did it. We did it.
This is the most super chats I've ever seen, bro. I want to just thank everybody for the super chats.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
All of you.
Appreciate your support. I'd play my music if I could right now, but I haven't figured this system out yet. Once I do, I'll bring all the disco music. DJ Ben will be back to bring the party back here. So thank you so much for your support, everybody. Jake, you got any parting shots for everyone?
Hey, man, have a safe weekend, man. Enjoy the rest of the summer. It's coming. We'll be in the fall. Just enjoy life, man. Take a couple seconds to reflect on where you are, where you want to go, and man, rock out, man. I'm gonna have a good weekend.
Amen to that.
My wife ain't here, and I'm about to we're gonna get a little rowdy in the house. I guarantee you, all 3 of my kids are up. They up still. Well, no, we got bows and arrows with the foam tips.
Nice.
So you shoot everybody with real bows and arrows.
That's
awesome.
Fucking awesome. That's gonna hurt, dude. That's gonna hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. It's like a 3-inch foam,
Awesome.
It's like this microphone. It's like this microphone on the end of a arrow.
Oh, okay.
You can shoot your real bows and arrows.
Got it. That's amazing. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, appreciate you subscribing over to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to Jake. And, I appreciate all the support. And as I always say, make yourselves better, make the world better. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. And I want to give a shout out also to my brother Jake here. We go way back, everybody. And I just say it's super cool to be doing a show. Here we are all these years later.
Let's go.
And Jake's always been a great friend to me. And I want to tell you, Coach Emery, our strength coach from college football, he was also I think he was the GM of the Bears, wasn't he, for a while?
Yeah, he was.
He gave a shout out the other day. It was so cool to see you and Jake, doing the show together and everything. So Really awesome. But everybody go get yours. Like I always say, we'll see you all next time. I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Jake's live Wednesday. And when else are you live?
Just Wednesday now.
Just Wednesdays. Okay.
Wednesday. Hey, shout out to Bobby Lynn. He's in the strip club giving us another $2.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you, man.
Nothing
Thank you so
but
much.
love, man.
Hey, I appreciate all you guys. We'll see y'all soon. Take care.